here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web. Or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello and happy Friday. I'm Nichoel Jurgens. This is Abe Limon.
Hey guys.
You know him as Limon. Just Limon. Who cares about the Abe part? And what is your Twitter handle again? Because you're just infamous on there.
Limon at Limon Poker.
Limon at Limon Poker. Yeah, follow him. But he's going to be here tonight with me. We are playing a 5-5 no limit hold'em game, 300 to 1,000 buy-in. We are ready to entertain. Although I don't think I can stand up to RoboCop's history.
You
with
have to be like Brandon Uhl tonight.
Oh, I
we
don't
want some
think
revelation.
Like, I don't think
are
I
you
can
a virgin?
do. Yes.
Probably not.
Probably not. As I'm on my second child, we know that I'm at least twice. I have done something crazy.
There's got to be something skeleton in the closet, though. We'll dig it out.
All right, great. I am looking forward to this. We're gonna get down to the table and meet those players. Okay, that's Josh over there in seat 1, like I mentioned. This is a 300 to 1,000 buy-in. So most of our players, it looks like, have in between 5 and 1,000. Josh started with 1,000. Saeed in seat 2 also started with 1,000. And Saeed was with us the other week. He commented on his thumb, broken thumb.
What happened to his thumb?
I don't know. I assume it's broken. And then you have to have a cast like all the way up around that blows.
Yeah. Unless you're a lefty, it would be hard to like check your cards right.
That's what we said. We said maybe it was like a chip mishap, stacking mishap. Rev in seat 3. Rev was also here a couple weeks ago.
Rev? I never knew him as Rev.
Isn't it like Carlos or something?
Yeah, his name's Carlos. What's this Rev stuff?
He's incognito.
Oh my God.
That's Rev.
Why do people always do that? They come on and they have some like goofy name.
Well, how about RoboCop? Hello.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So like once you saw that he's done it and how horrible it is.
You should never.
Why would you go down that path?
Do it.
Like there was one guy who came on, his name was Sex or whatever.
It was?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, and so it's like, okay, Sex, hilarious. Then like I'm sure he got mad that we were making fun of him the whole time.
Well, Rev has 800. Sam.
I shouldn't. He like has like all those tats. He really beat my ass.
Yeah, he probably would. Actually, I don't know about his demeanor, like personally, but on the table, he's very quiet and nice.
No, he's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
I try to get him to play in a PLO game all the time, and he just like laughs at me.
He's smarter than that. So yeah, we know one thing about him.
Yeah,
he's probably smart.
He has a lot of discipline.
That's Sam in seat 4. He started with 500. That's Troy in seat 5. He also started with 500. How do you think? Munir? Mounir.
Mounter.
Mount up.
Yeah, it's got to be like Munir.
We'll say Munir until we hear otherwise. He started with 1,000. Naldo in seat 7 started with 400. Mario is a local fixture at the Bicycle Casino over there in seat 8. He's standing up right now, staring at people.
Mario's a legend.
He is the local pimp, and I say that because he's normally wearing like a velour suit every day to the bike. Have you seen it? You know what I'm talking about.
I've seen all of Mario's outfits.
Oh,
He has like the crocodile shoes sometimes, like matching the pants.
Yeah, with
in like mustard color.
He does actually. The reason why he has all these great suits and clothing is I think he owns a clothing shop in downtown Fabric District. So,
very smart.
So that's why he normally actually is dressed much sharper than this. So we're not seeing the really sharp Mario tonight.
He's casual. It's a Friday.
This is casual Friday Mario.
That's right.
He has 600. And then what do we have? AV and Roy.
Adult Video News Roy.
Oh, is that what that is?
I don't know. Why would he do that?
Can I just call him Roy? Do I need to say AVN Roy?
He actually works for the Adult Video News?
And he wants
He
everyone to
certainly
know.
isn't in any of the movies where I'd recognize him.
Do you ever see the guy's face, really?
Unfortunately.
Oh, okay. So I'm just going to call him Roy. If he has a problem with that, he can talk to me later. Avian Roy is just too long. But he has 300.
I
So
wouldn't give out that I was like an AVN guy in here because now everyone's going to be hitting him up for like tickets or to go to one of his shoots or something. Shoots.
is he a director? I mean, what is he? What is he for?
Oh, he ain't an actor. We got that down. Marketing.
Marketing.
Don't they market themselves?
How do they? I guess they have. They have the like Comic-Con. They have those big conventions sometimes.
He's in charge of pop-up windows.
Oh, dang it! Mario's leaving us. Mario would be great.
Mario, come on, Mario, come back.
Action player.
He's a hustler, baby.
It's true about Mario too. It's so funny. So Mario's leaving us. We're in the first hand. Button is over in seat 5 with Troy. Action's going around. Looks like we have a limp from Roy, a raise from Rev. Now we'll just folded King Queen out of the big blind after Rev raised. Three-way action to the flop. Both Roy and Rev with the 10. Roy with a better kicker.
That is 40.
Checks over to Rev if it's continuation, better 40 out.
That is 70.
Only because I had it. I had 5 left, so I just had to vote.
Rev improved on the turn, but 70. Roy still calling. The turn brought the jack, also 3 spades.
Hello? Oh, is it working now, right?
Lyman was down for a second. He's saying, man down.
Man down, man down.
And he's back.
That is 90.
Rev bets 90 on the river. Roy, who's down to 125. This is, in essence. I think Roy actually, let's look at his chips. I think he must have rebought because, yeah, he has more. He's about 300 something there.
But Roy limp called pre-flop, right?
Yes, he limped under the gun.
With queen 10 off and then called.
Lim has called all the way thus far. We'll have to update his chip stack. He has 305 left, and he's not going to call that 90.
Yeah, I think in porn parlance, what Roy's play was right there was a circle jerk.
I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's terrible.
That was just bizarre, Roy. Come on, what are you doing? Why are you limping that trash, first of all, and then when it gets raised behind you, why are you just limp calling it?
And that's, you can see why. Actually, people think, well, but queen 10's a good hand, but actually it's really not. It's a trap hand, you can see in that case. You say, oh, well, but he was ahead on the flop. Yeah, he was. But look what happens on the turn and river, and when you're out of position, just makes it even that much harder. It's not necessary to lose money like that in that kind of pot.
Yeah. So looks like somebody limped again. Is that AVN?
Yep, Roy under the gun, limped.
Raise to 20.
Raise on the button from Moonier to 20. Josh moved over to seat 8 there, and he's going to 3-bet.
5.
It's interesting, actually. I always find that interesting when someone does this with a really light a really light 3-bet of the blind when somebody had limped under the gun. Now we can
Right.
see obviously that, I mean, we've only seen one hand, but we see they haven't seen any of Roy's, but he limped under the gun. I'd be a little bit worried about that from the big blind, but Josh was not.
I guess they just saw him sort of passively play with the limp, so I think people sort of pegged him probably as like loose passive at this point.
This is going to work out well for Josh, I believe, with the ace on the board. It's going to be a continuation bet and should take it down.
95 is the bet.
I don't know why Munir defended there. I don't know. It didn't seem like a very good spot to defend, but maybe they have been playing against each other a little bit.
How long has this game been going, guys? An hour. Okay, so they have been playing for about an hour, so they have a little bit of history on each other, more than we do at least.
I mean, it seems like a 4-bet or fold situation there. And you could like just min 4-bet, min click it back right there if like you really had some.
Well,
history.
Lyman, you're thinking about you. These are 5-5 players. They're never doing that ever
Oh.
with Queen 9.
Yeah, but then
Ever.
the call was just weird.
Yeah, it is, and it's just Lyman, who plays basically, you know, at least 5-10 or 10-20, is talking about his strategy, and so for people who play 5-5, they're like, what? Like, yeah, they're never going to probably re-raise. Probably what the best thing to do, and Lyman's right, is if you raise on that button as a steal with Queen 9, which, you know, it could be the best hand. It's not a bad hand to raise on the button against 2 blinds. If you get 3-bet, and even if it happened to be a bluff like this case would be, it's probably best to let it go. Or if you decide that you are going to defend and you think it's the best hand, then like Lyman said, you know, raise it back up. This time Munir with kings raises and takes it. Man down, help. Lyman's down again. What is the world going to do if they can't hear him? Lyman said probably play better. What are you doing to your mic, Lyman? He is not touching anything. It's just not working. Ryan, you're going to have to stand here and just hold the wire. Button over with Josh, 5 and 5 blinds. Good, this gives Lyman time for a wine break. Just hit it. Now it works. Now it works.
I love that.
That's how you fix things around here.
Yeah, you guys fix things
Just
the way
kick
people
it.
fix cars in old movies. You just like kick the door. Oh, there go the radio turned on.
This time Roy out of the small blind is going to raise it up with the 10-9 of clubs. All limpers are calling. So we have 4-way action. Saeed with ace-10, Troy with pocket 3s, Naldo with pocket deuces, and the pre-flop raiser is Roy with the worst of it. But he flops the best of it. Look at that. He knew it was coming. Top pair on the flop. He's going to bet out.
Bet is 110.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Troy's been around for a long time, too. I've played with him on and off throughout the years. He's an interesting player.
Yeah, I vaguely recognize him.
He's going to shove here and get a quick call from Roy. I don't mind the play if somebody actually has fold equity, but, I mean, Roy had put in, 105, and he had less than 100 behind, so I'm not quite sure what the point was, unless I guess Troy just really thought he was good with the 3s, which he might have. Fortunately, he's wrong. And he's going to double Roy up.
AVN Roy. That was the money shot. Oh. How many of these can I do before Lizette loses her mind? Just porn references all night.
Our live chatters love it, don't worry. Welcome to all our live chatters, and hello, Nitty, Playtime, 7-Card Dud, Robot Destruct, Bulldozer, Chipalip, anyone else who's joining us tonight. Thank you. If you're not chatting with us and you're watching, sign in. Sign up for a free account with your name and email, and click on live broadcasts, and you will see the same screen you see on the homepage, but there will be a chat box underneath. Ask us questions, join in the conversations, talk about the play. It's rather fun. We enjoy having all of our live chatters interact with us.
I like that fixing the technical equipment around here is like in the old. Remember the old cartoons with the Flintstones when one of them would get amnesia from getting hit on the head, and the only way to fix their amnesia was to
hit them
on the head the same way again. That's how we fix the equipment here on Live at the Bank.
It was true because when I grabbed your headset, it didn't work, and then I accidentally like smashed it.
Yeah, you were smashing it, and you're like, oh, it works. Very high tech. Very high tech.
These are actually the new headsets. You know what they say, new. They don't make quality anymore.
I guess so.
Raise now from Troy, I believe. Nope, raise from Rev, excuse me, with ace 10. He got 6 callers, made it 15 to go. So 6-way action to the flop. I see 2 flush draws for both Steve and Saeed. Pair of 8s for Troy. He's going to bet. Now, both Steve and Saeed actually have a gutter and a flush draw, so they both have big hands here. They both check it over to Troy, who bets his 8. Steve quickly calls.
Looks like he might have min-raised it.
You're correct, he did. 35 from Troy, 100 from Steve, and a call from Saeed. Back to Troy, who's not scared of the smooth call of the raise. Just insta-calls. And he's actually correct at the moment.
When the one guy min-raised it, I would have jammed over the top of him if I was the guy in the hat. What's his name?
Saeed.
Saeed, yeah, I would have just hammered him. There's no way he's min-raising any sort of value hand there with a board that's scary and multi-way action.
Well, now, since Saeed did not do that, now he's put to the test here because Steve has shoved on the turn. Steve now has open-ended, not just a gutter. But Troy's going to look him up for his last 100. Steve needs a straight or a flush, and he's hit his straight.
The guy in the hat, Rev, no, not Rev, Saeed,
Yep.
he needs to realize that sometimes people check raise when they have monster hands, and sometimes they check raise as sort of like feeler bets. And in that situation, a multi-way pot, when the guy leads and then the other guy min check raises, it's never with a monster hand like a set of kings, ever. It's always a feeler bet, and he should have just shipped right over the top. He would just pick the damn thing up. Only thing he's worrying about is the guy who originally led, but he's got tons of equity against that guy if he's wrong. He's going to get that guy, like if he's just a regular player, to even lay down things like 2 pair sometimes.
Gringo in our live chat says, hey, Lyman, do you have a website? I've told Lyman before about this. He's got to have some promotional material out there, but no, he doesn't.
Just my Twitter. And I will warn you, I use the C word a lot on my Twitter, so.
Cash?
You've been
Cash
forewarned.
money?
Avian Roy knows what I'm talking
Crocodile? Cactus?
I do use cactus a lot because I love growing cactuses. And they're prickly like me.
Troy's bought back in for 300.
Raise to 15. 15.
It looks like he is Troy making it 15. Is that what I'm hearing? Yep. Troy's bought back in for 300, and right away he's making it 15 in early position with the 5-6. So We might see a little steamed fried rice here. Couple callers.
This is quite a game. I had no idea the 5-5 games were like this. I can't even keep track of what's going on. It's just mind-boggling. Everyone's just clicking buttons. I mean, hey, whatever. It's Friday. Come to the casino, have some fun.
Well, this is exactly the kind of table we want, right? I mean, we
Well, no,
want
of
people
course.
doing this. It's just,
I just didn't have any idea. I mean, it's really just like, a total wreck game. I love it. It's awesome.
so Troy checks now on this flop. He actually flopped middle pair and now has turn 2 pair. Saeed has bet out 25 with his 6. Troy now, who's gone bust once, thinking. Makes 75. And a fold from Saeed. Five are the blinds. 300 to 1,000 is a buy-in. We're playing No Limit Hold'em. I'm Nichoel Jurgens. Limon with me in the booth tonight. Sorry, I'm not RoboCop, guys. I'll attempt to keep you entertained with Limon as best I can.
Oh, there's so many good stories about RoboCop. Oh my God, you can't even imagine.
You know, I always want to watch because everyone has told me how great your shows are, but then you get home and you're like, I'm not gonna watch 3 hours of it. So you'll have to update me on some stories for me and all those others that have missed the shows.
No, I was going to tell you about something happening right now in Las Vegas.
Oh, I would like that.
RoboCop made it into the money on the Millionaire Maker tournament.
Okay.
And he was coming back for the next day to play, and he tapped out really fast, lost. And he told his poker mentor, Meow, that the reason he lost is because he didn't get any sleep the night before, because he spent the whole night fantasizing about what he would do with $1 million. And he's not joking. He did do that. He always tells the truth.
Oh, my.
He couldn't sleep the entire night before. There's still hundreds of players left. And he's fantasizing about what he'll do with $1 million. And he doesn't get any sleep, and he can't play the next day, and he taps out immediately.
Troy and Munir limp. Saeed raises on the button with 10s. Both Troy and Munir call, and it gets checked around. Everybody has a pair at this point with a deuce on the turn. Troy probably thinks he's good with that check from Saeed on the flop. And I don't blame him. Saeed choosing not to check, I'm not sure, maybe worried about the queen. It's only one overcard, not a terrible flop at all to bet with 10s. But this may gain him extra value from Troy unless Troy can blow him off the pot. As it is, Saeed calls. Oops. And it goes check, check, and Saeed's going to take it down with his 10s. Wondering what he's going to do with $1 million.
I want that. If he was here right now, that's what I'd ask him. Like,
so what did he? I wonder what he came up with. Like, what was his final consensus?
It has to be amazing. It has to be like 50% magic beans, 30% like dinner at BJ's. I don't know, because he spent an entire night with no sleep. How many things must he have? I mean, it's unreal. I got to remember that for the next time he's here. All the things that he thought about all night long.
He never lies, so he was telling the truth.
Huh? I know, but I don't know.
He never spends any money on that side. Well, maybe that's why he doesn't have any. Why he wants that $1 million, so he has money to spend. Oh, my RoboCop. You know what? It is true, though. When you get deep in those tournaments, it's hard to sleep. Your mind starts racing. And about crazy things, like about nothing.
Recently in one.
Yeah, and you wake up and your mind, it's not even, you try to go back to sleep and your mind races about things not even to do with poker. You're like, oh, and you're thinking about, oh, when I went for a walk yesterday and I saw this squirrel. You're like, what the fuck? Like, why can I not sleep? This is just stupid. So that does happen. It just, adrenaline just races through your body and you can't sleep. But I mean, he wasn't quite to the point of that yet, but that's pretty cute.
Maybe for Bart, because Bart made it to the very end.
Yeah, for Bart, that now I can see that. Now Troy here, after going felt in his first buy-in, has now flopped trips. Steve, who felted him, has bet 40 with his ace king.
Steve raised from early position pre-flop and got called by 9-10 off and Jack 8 off. Come on down to the bike.
Wow, and then Munir turns his straight. Munir now with the nuts, and all of them check around.
Amazing.
Wow, and back to Troy,
Well,
who checks again.
let's see how much the guy with the straight
Checks
loses.
again. Everybody
What?
checks
Oh my
again.
God.
Nobody makes any money. Troy's going to win it, but a small pot.
The guy turned over ace king like he might be winning. I would too. The guy who raised with ace king was like, I might be winning here.
It got checked the turn and the river.
That's so awesome when one guy has a straight, one guy has a full house, and they play it so passively that the guy with ace king high thinks he might have won the pot.
Beautiful on Friday nights. Beautiful games. These are exactly what you want to see. And it's unfortunate when you're sitting in the game half the time you don't realize all this is going on. But everyone got to see these hands here, so people should be aware, like, oh, wow, okay. I don't know if anybody is aware enough on this table that, like, okay, people just check twice when they have massive hands, so be aware.
This is good. These guys, maybe will come watch this later and they'll be like, yeah, there's a couple things I could work on. Limped pot, huh?
Seat 4 looks like Reed from Criminal Minds. It's true. His hair does look like, I've seen that show before, and it's funny that he said that. Seat 4 is Sam.
Yeah, he's from Philly.
Sam is?
Yeah, Sam from Philly. I was talking to him earlier. He's him and his girlfriend or fiance or whatever, wife, I don't know. They're on sort of like a West Coast fun trip. I told him that if he won money in the game, he should drive to Vegas.
And?
He said he thinks it might be a good idea.
But he's not going to do it.
He's not sure yet. He doesn't. Nobody ever knows how close it is. It's like, haven't you guys ever watched like The Hangover?
There's 3 of them now.
Yeah, Vegas ain't far away. You can jump in your car. Like for most people, when you're young, you like jump in your car and you drive to Vegas. But this guy's never seen Vegas before in his life.
For us, 4 hours is nothing though. Some people are like, oh my gosh, 4 hours, I can't do it.
Right.
Chip Lip says he saw RoboCop today at the Deep Stack. Tourney at the series.
Oh, if anybody sees Robo, please go up and just like ask him for his autograph and stuff. He'll freak out.
He loves it.
He loves it so much. Like he'll piss his pants.
Especially if you're a girl, please do.
Yes.
Oh, it'll make his day.
Tell him you want to be the one
At least make him happy.
to turn him out.
He told everybody he's a virgin.
Oh yeah, 100%. He said he's waiting for the right woman.
Oh, cute.
In air quotes, woman.
He is pretty cute when he's not such a tool. Raise from Steve. Ace Jack. Troy and Munir are going to get in there. Munir has a secret hand. Good to see his. There it is. And Steve had the best hand and continues with the best hand. Continuation bet at 75. Munir likes to show his neighbor. I wonder if Munir and Naldo are friends because he keeps showing Naldo all his hands. Either that or Naldo's just getting a whole bunch of free information.
If you're a guy in seat 5, Troy, and you flat hands like Jack King on the button, you better damn well know what your opponent's going to do when you make one pair. Or you're going to get yourself in just horrible spots, even with position.
King Jack, really tough hand to play.
Unless you know how your opponent, unless you really know, have your opponent locked down, and you're never going to like misplay your top pair hands, which is, and a lot of times, there are a lot of players that are so fit or fold post-flop that you can play what are quote-unquote trashy hands because you know that when your opponent checks, they're always giving up, you know. Sometimes if the flop if by you calling, it'll induce other people to call, or you can look to your left and see that other people have already preloaded a call, and it's going to go multi-way. You know that the original raiser is never going to c-bet light, so you're never in kicker trouble, and so you can play like weird hands. But if you're going to be like stressed out about kicker trouble because you don't really know how to react to one pair hand, you just can't play that stuff.
Well, I think the problem is a lot of players don't realize they don't know, and that's why it's good until you are completely aware of who your opponents are and what exactly you're doing. It's best not to play hands like that, like we're talking about Queen 10 and King Jack, until you're absolutely aware and you know your tendencies of your opponents. And like Limon said, if you know that they're going to check behind you and you know absolutely that you're good with your one pair, that's great.
Yeah.
Or if you're only playing it for specifically straight value or two pair value, okay, maybe. But it's best to just play tight, solid poker until you absolutely learn the entire game, in which a lot of people maybe in this level are still learning.
Yeah, they're just figuring it out. That's cool. I mean, we're all there.
How long have you been playing now? So you told me at least 2004, right? How long before that?
I probably first went into the casino to play in probably 98, 99, somewhere around then. Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
I'm an old man.
You are not. I thought you were like my age.
I'm over 40.
Are you really?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I thought you were early 30s. The red hair must, it just makes you look young.
Because I look so good.
Because you're so sexy.
Because I'm so fit and I take such good care of myself.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that. I would never guess. I would guess in your 30s.
I played $1, $2 limit at Hollywood Park the very first day I went in the casino.
Really? Yep, that's what the first day I played here, I played 2-4 limit. And I played that for about 3 months. 2-4 limit.
I was like one of those super lucky players that started in complete God mode. I moved from 1-2 limit to the biggest game spread in all of Los Angeles in like 90 days.
Oh my.
Because I just kept taking my entire bankroll and putting it on the table like a retard.
As long as it worked out for you.
It did, because I mean, you just have to have some sort of like be able to reflect a little and say like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I just started trying to learn. I knew I'd been given a serious gift.
Well, it's good that you knew. A lot of people. Sometimes I say the best gift for new players who intend to play for a living is to lose at first.
Yeah,
because
maybe.
if you aren't aware and aren't smart enough to realize what to do when you're losing, then it's going to be tough business for you. If you just win right away, much easier to go broke, I think, in the end.
It is. Yeah, everything I did to start playing poker was stupid. Everything.
But luckily for you, you were smart about it, though. You started to learn, you started to read.
I knew I had luck box. I'm like, I got to figure this shit out, man. I've been given like so much money. I need to figure it out.
Sam and Munir playing this hand. Sam bets his deuces on the turn, takes it down. Triplett said he is going to go up to RoboCop tomorrow and say he's his poker hero.
Yeah, and even if you are laughing the whole time you're saying it, he will not know you're joking. He will 100% think you mean it, and he'll be like, well, do you want my autograph?
Button over with Naldo.
This person said they saw Robot Comic Book Collectors Convention in Vegas. That is impossible. There's no way, because he doesn't read.
Do you have to read comic books? Maybe he just looks at the
He just
pictures.
okay, maybe.
Limp from Munir. Limp from Troy. Going to play against the two blinds. 4-way action. Steve with an ace.
Troy was an open limper with 3-5 off.
Yep, in the hijack.
He's testing the bounds of what you can do at a poker table.
Well, and like I said, I've seen him for years and years, so some people just never really change.
You know, people play for lots of different motivations.
Yeah, and I wonder sometimes how they do it for so many years when they don't change. But I don't know him personally. Maybe he has a job. Maybe he,
Well, you got to
Has his own
remember
thing going
something
on.
like about poker. Poker to most people is just gambling. To 95%, 98% maybe of the population, it's just straight gambling. They don't view it any different than blackjack or roulette or craps. So nobody ever says, like, why does this guy go to Vegas 6 times a year and play blackjack? They know why he does it. To just have fun and blow off steam.
yeah.
And yet people will say in a poker game, like, why does he keep doing that? Because they know that you could theoretically win if you put your mind to it. But a lot of people are just like, well, I don't play. What am I going to do today? I want to gamble a little. Blackjack or poker? Flip a coin, seat open poker, poker. That's as far as the thought goes, which is totally legitimate because the game is fun, whether you win or lose, if you can afford it.
Right.
Play for 30.
30 on the button from Roy.
Yeah.
And
Sam put in some of his Vegas money. This is the first time I've seen him put any money in, I think so. If he's putting his Vegas trip in jeopardy, this must be serious. I can't tell, like, what.
Sam, Troy, Josh, and Roy in the pot. Roy, the razor. King 3-9 on the flop, checks around. 8 on the turn, check again.
Once that 8 comes on the turn, I would just like be barreling. Once that flop checks through, it's just your pot if you're willing to stick your neck out.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of position. I mean, that's the whole point. If you want to check the flop, it's fine. But once it checks to you twice, why not bet there?
I mean, even if I'm in Sam's spot, like the worst possible position, once the flop checks through, I'm leading that turn card 100% of the time with pretty much every hand I have. Because that turn card is nothing that anyone can continue with unless they pick up a straight draw. And then you know exactly what you need to fade on the river. He had a pair. So he knows he actually had a lot of different plays that he can make later on in the hand. If you have nothing, it gets a little bit harder. But it's just like barrel. Nobody's checking through a made hand on King Queen 9 or
Definitely
or
nobody's
draw.
checking through a king.
Yeah. So you know as soon as it checks through, you're good. Nobody's checking through a hand that they can take barrel with. That's what I'm saying. They might check through some stupid hand, but they're not going to be able to take the heat. The under the gun person actually has the best reputation to do that with in a lot of ways.
Troy with a real hand, and raise it up. It's a 15.
Troy checking his cards twice. He's like, what? Who gave me these?
Rev, who never calls anything, is calling here. I'm guessing he's playing the player.
Yeah, but this is not a good play.
I concur. I'm just
If
suggesting what's going on in his head.
I mean,
Because he normally is actually quite tight.
yeah, and he sees that Troy maybe you can outplay him.
I don't know that you can outplay him.
But that's what I'm
That's the
saying.
thing
yeah.
is like you really just because he puts. You can't really outplay him. The guy will call everything. You just basically are hoping to get lucky against him. Is basically what's happening.
The way you outplay him is you let him blast off his stack with nothing.
When you have something.
Yeah,
That's
when you have something,
So you
yeah.
want to get lucky enough
Yeah.
that he's going to go crazy when So, but you can wait for a better hand to do that. You don't need to do that with 10-4.
No, 10-4 is way out there. I mean, you're just going to flop enough to get him felted so rarely. It's just not worth it. I mean, Troy's big mistake isn't folding too much. His big mistake is calling too much. So you're playing make a hand poker version.
Button over with Saeed.
And it's not like the stacks are super deep where you can just mine hands with a hand like 10-4, like you're 1,000 big blinds deep, and the guy's just like, you know, just throwing off money. The guy's got like $300 or something.
Under the gun, Troy found ace queen again.
Make it 15.
The live chatters are saying the deep stack at Rio is 235 buy-in for over 20K for first. That's pretty good. And they run it 3 times a day. I'm surprised. I wonder if that is all 3 times a day that happens. It's pretty amazing if it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Troy makes it 15. Josh calls. Troy checks the flop and Josh bets. Open-ended. Oh, was it tell me Josh 3-bet pre-flop?
Yeah, Josh had 3-bet earlier with queen deuce. So this guy, you know, he likes to be very aggressive when he plays a hand.
As it is, he bet the flop and Troy called.
But again, it's just he's totally picking on the wrong guy. This is how guys who are just sort of stationy end up making tons of money. Is because everybody is playing the exact wrong way against them.
Josh takes a card on the turn. He has the best of it on the river, and he's going to check it and show. Troy's got a bad taste in his mouth.
Yeah, he's not happy with that. But it was a pretty good spot for him. I mean, he doesn't if he realizes that people are sort of making these weird plays against him when he actually has premium hands, he's going to do all right.
Well, now he's back down to 255. So seeing that, if he gets 3-bet pre-flop and with a big hand like ace queen, probably shove spot.
I'm guessing since C7 is playing a pretty taggy game right now, at least
Seat 8, Josh.
Yeah, that he will understand the fact that when he watches this later that 3-betting seat 5 in that spot is not a good play. You don't have to 3-bet him there and he's not folding. You're just bloating the pot with the worst hand. You can just flat him there, make a hand, and felt him.
Josh limps, Roy raises. Troy and Josh call, 3-way action.
Bet 30.
Roy bets 30.
30-30 from AVN Roy.
He takes it down. Lyman's barber says, I believe Josh is Eric Lindgren's brother. Looks a little bit like Eric Lindgren. A little bit. If he had hair.
Josh, I can't even see Josh.
Right there.
Oh, yeah, he's like, oh, there he is.
A little bit, right?
Oh, boy.
Or if Eric Lindgren was bald.
Who knows what Eric Lindgren looks like now? He's probably been beat up a few times.
I doubt it. You know, poker players are big.
They are big pussies. when it
Yes,
comes to
that's the word I
collecting
was going to
money.
use. Exactly. I'll let you use it. Just that they just talk and talk and talk and
Yeah.
no one ever does anything.
Yeah.
Small blank. I'm kidding. That's what it sounded like, too. Get George over here. He speaks.
Button with Sam in seat 4, 5 and 5 blinds.
Fabian's limping in again. You know, it's not horrible to limp in if you sort of have a plan on how to like balance that against people who, if it's a super loose table and you can balance it against people who are going to like pick on your limp every now and then by limp re-raising them. But I just don't see him really thinking that far ahead right now.
That's 10.
If I had pocket fours, I would not limp in with them. I would make a little raise.
That's what I was talking. Dave was asking, what's your strategy at this game? And Dave was saying he likes to limp in with small pocket pairs. So when the game is so passive like this, I almost never limp in this game. Make it 10, make it 15, make it whatever.
Exactly.
But why, take control of the hand, because you can see how passive it is. All you have to do is put a small continuation bet out on the flop, and you're going to take it a vast percentage of the time. And if you get any opposition, so you let it go unless you get lucky and hit your 4.
Plus, when you make a small raise, even if it's just like $15, you're going to pick up the blind sometimes.
Often, very often.
And that's a big deal.
It is a big
The
deal because
difference
you're not paying
between-
$6.
Yeah, the difference between picking up the blinds with pocket fours and having to see a flop out of position against the blinds 100% of the time with pocket fours is immense. Immense.
Raise, play for 30.
I guess you'd be in position, but it's still the same thing. You don't know where you're going to be at the hand.
30 from Rev. The hijack. Troy's going to call their heads up. Troy has 200 behind, and he's flopped a straight draw with the with a diamond draw. So pretty good flop for him. Rev just with 2 overs. Continuation bet of 40. And he hits a straight. Open-ended now for Rev.
This is a very, very ugly board. I mean, I'm sure that Rev's thinking, it's just as ugly to him as it is to me. But the thing he obviously must realize at this point is, you're just not getting this guy off anything.
He does check. Troy bets. Small, bets 40.
40 into 155. He absolutely should be bombing this. His opponent's going to have a draw that he can continue with, that he's going to want to continue with so often. Making this sort of little gutless feeler bet is not a good strategy.
There it goes. All in on the river.
Rev's just like
Hollywooding a little bit.
No, he's like, why? The guy only have $50 left. If I fold here and I'm wrong, it looks like such a tool. Because I'm getting 6 to 1 or something. And he knows that he has to ship it in with 100% of his range. He only has $50 left, and he's just like, F my L. You're lucky, Rev. You're lucky he didn't bet the turn the size he should have. You would have called it because you had an open ender and an overcard. He let you off easy.
Button over with Munir. So Troy showed the queen. Showed one card, he showed the queen, so now, Rev's kicking himself.
He thinks that he might. But if the queen has him beat too, he has no kicker.
Make it 25.
25 on the button for Munir. King Queen.
Yep, that's fine.
Three-way action to the flop.
3 players.
You see in this hand, this when Rev limped 5-6 suited, that's actually a good limp. Because it's going to go multi-way, and you're in with guys that you're going to like be able to win a big pot off. You just don't need to bloat the pot. Now he's decided that he's going to try and pick it up because it got checked through on the flop. I don't think that's a good play.
And so 9, 10, 3 on the flop. 9 on the checks around. 9 on the turn.
You just got to know who you're in with here. You're just not picking up anything against this specific player.
So 9 on the turn, and Rev bet 30. Troy called, Munir folded. 3 on the river.
65.
Rev's going to keep up with the story. He bet 65.
He has to now. He's got no choice.
Now he wants to show revenge.
But I mean, why? Okay, that's fine. I have no problem with gamesmanship. But don't you show a bluff to get a guy to call you more? This guy couldn't call you more. It's impossible. This is like bizarro world poker right here. This is just how players, even when they know how to technically play the game, do not know how to adjust to certain types of opponents. The adjustments that everyone's making to Troy, and Troy is obviously the center of attention here. He's the belle of the ball. The adjustments they're making are not good adjustments. They're going to actually give him a chance to like make money in a lot of spots.
With a 6 kicker.
I think that happens often, actually, when somebody sits down, you know, the big recreational player who just likes to play every hand like Troy is doing. Everyone is trying to get a piece of their money, so everyone wants to get involved with that player. So people start playing down to that person's level instead of continuing to play their game. And what happens then is when those recreational players are hitting their hands, and they're making a ton of money because everyone's just in every pot trying to take it from them, and they're never folding.
No.
Raise from Troy. Josh gonna call, heads up. Roy folded. Yeah, Roy's not in there. There we go.
This is going to be another one of those funny pots where they just check it down.
Josh hit 2 pair on the river. You know, Troy checked his ace all the way through. Raised pre-flop, checked his ace all the way through, and just calls Josh on the river and is going to lose.
Yeah, I would value bet 2 pair there too. He's going to call you with really any pair. The fact he had an ace was a miracle.
Thank you very much.
Troy is our action player, and he happens to be sitting in the hot seat. If you're in seat 5, you actually get a buttload of camera time because our main camera faces right at that seat. Teddy was the girl that was in that seat last show when she
I know Teddy. She
gave
wears the
a show.
red hat, right?
Yes,
In
and barely a shirt
Oh,
with really big.
ABN Roy probably
Yes,
would have
loved
approved
it.
of that.
Yes. So she was sitting right in the hot seat last time, so it worked out perfectly for our viewers, who I'm sure are like 99.99% male.
Oh no!
Except for Nitty. Nitty and me.
Wait, what about the hammer?
The hammer. And except for her. We're the like 0.01%.
Hashtag, there's a woman in here. Hammer is hilarious. I love her tweets. Her tweets are so awesome.
It's funny though because you know Twitter is meant for like 140 characters, right?
Right.
So she just uses like 28 tweets to
Yes.
tell her whole story. Like really,
Of some-
really windy. The whole point
The whole
is to do it in 140 characters.
a hand that like no one in
No
the
one
world
cares.
is gonna read, except me. I read it just to laugh.
Close, 79.
Raise from Naldo. Welcome to the game, Naldo. It's his first hand. Unfortunately for him, he's dominated by Roy, but Roy did not 3-bet.
I love it when her hashtags are like, don't bluff the hammer,
Don't bluff the hammer.
or hashtag owned by the hammer. It's like,
It sounds Asian. She's not Asian, actually.
No.
She's a white girl.
yo,
But
yeah,
just how Lyman gave her an Asian
the hammer.
attitude. continuation bet from Naldo, and this might do it.
Did you bring me the Coke?
She'll like win a big pot off somebody in the it'll be like hashtag sorry hoodie kid.
Too bad she's not watching right now.
Oh,
So
they're
we
amazing.
can tease her.
Me and Zach Freeman go back and forth doing fake hammer tweets to her. Where we like copy her. Yeah, we copy her style of tweeting.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, hoodie kid.
He fires into my top quads with under quads. Hashtag don't bluff the hammer.
Button over in seat 9 with Avi and Roy.
Small boy. Live straddle.
It must be a sense of pride with him that he works for. What's it called again? AVN.
AVM? Hey.
What is AVN stand for again?
Adult Video News.
Adult
I mean,
Video News.
I don't know if that's the.
Do you think he's
actual-
married? He must not be married then if it's like a sense of pride, right?
Well, maybe, they swing a little.
Oh, I guess it could be. Anything's
He has a
possible.
ring on. There you go. We don't know if that actually means Adult Video News. Do we?
6-player.
Okay, Lizette says 100% yes. I thought maybe it's just like his first name is Avon or something, where it's like making fun of him. He does have on. Okay. He's Googleable. AVN Roy.
Googleable. I like that word. Googleable. Checks around to Josh. In last position with his 7. Troy with another 7, a worse 7. Gonna call, and their heads up. Josh getting the best of Troy, and Troy's not gonna like it one bit. Well, that helps. Troy.
That's 60.
$60 is a bet on the turn. Oops, Troy let it go. Troy has only 100 something behind. Well, maybe like 125 or so from what I'm seeing there.
You can safely bet second pair for value there, just because Troy is calling 100% of his draws and other weird stuff that doesn't even make any sense, and smaller pocket pairs. It's very unlikely he has a queen because he didn't lead out, and if he has a deuce, well, you just lose some money, whatever.
Straddle from Sam. 10 to call. You can drink your wine, Lyman. It's okay.
25.
Don't be scared.
I don't want to get the fumes too close to you. It could affect the baby.
Yeah, the fumes.
It could affect the baby.
I drink wine. Come on.
Oh.
You can fix your chair too. You know that you don't have to sit so like. Do you like to sit up like that?
It seems normal to me.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm
then
not a
you're good.
midget like we were sitting here before. Like Bart. Bart's like the same width and height.
He's cracking himself up. Oh my, good stuff. Wow, look at Troy. Look at this butt Troy picked. Raise from Munir, call from Roy, 3-bet from Saeed. Troy says, I'm not scared. I'm all in. He's already covered by the 3-bet. He's got 1 overcard.
Yeah, it could be worse. He could have like 7-8 and really be crushed. Better.
Needs an 8. Nope. And whoa! Troy doubles up.
Nice.
10 on the river.
This is that part when, like, what's the guy, Saeed, is that his name?
Yep.
when everybody
Look
else
at his
is,
head, and I said, no.
is like
no.
secretly whispering to each other,
Please, Troy, please, Troy.
so fucking glad he lost.
In the end, anytime Troy's all in, if you're smart, you're really pulling for him to win the pot. And it sucks for if you happen to be the one against him at the time. It
I
really
know.
sucks for you.
You know,
but
everyone at the
nobody's
table-
pulling for you.
Everyone wants you to lose.
Yes, nobody wants you to win.
Line, please.
Button over with Saeed now. Troy's back up to 325. And he folded. Look at that. Troy found a fold.
He's protecting his stack.
Nitty has the hashtag for you. Hammered.
Hammered.
Hammered. You got hammered.
Similar.
Hammered.
Mine's red, his is brown.
I think if you go on Twitter and look under the hashtag hammerisms, you'll bring up a bunch of those tweets. I think we were hashtagging them hammerisms. But they won't be very funny unless you've read her other tweets and sort of know the way she
Yeah,
is.
you have to know Wendy
Yeah.
too. Wendy's hilarious. Really smart girl who has a full-time job that she loves and makes good money. But she just likes to torture herself at the poker table.
Oh, yeah.
Every time. You know, and this happens to a lot of people is can't handle losing with the best of it,
Oh,
which
yeah.
happens constantly and all the time in this game.
Yeah,
It
drives
really is
them nuts.
unfortunate, and you have to be able to accept it, and she is not good at that. Anytime the best of it loses for her, she's not happy. And a lot of people are that way. You know, they stand up, how can it bemoan their luck? How can this happen to me? Woe is me. This game is rigged, blah, blah, blah. But she's just really funny about it.
I think I've been lucky. I've never ever been that way. I've just never I've been always been tilt proof. Even though I've played bad a lot in my earlier years and didn't know what I was doing, I never got mad. I just never gave a damn. And I think that's why I ran up in stakes so fast, because it just didn't even occur to me that, like, oh, why wouldn't you do this?
Yep.
Makes no sense not to. Well, for a long time I didn't lose. I lose a lot now.
Lizette said it's hard to tilt when you don't lose. But it is. It's the biggest part of the game. And patience, whether patience sitting at the table waiting for your spots, patience waiting for your hands, patience for accepting bad things happening to you and over again sometimes. Just constant patience is key for me in this game. And just because you have the best hand doesn't mean you're going to win. And it doesn't seem fair, I know. There's just no justice, but it's just the way it works. Raise on the button from Rev. It's ace, nine of diamonds. 3-bet from Munir out of the big blind with queens.
I don't think I'd be calling here just because Munir hasn't shown any, like, 3-betting the whole freaking day, especially out of the blinds.
Wow, well, look at this flop.
Yeah.
Top set for Munir, nut flush for Rev, and they both check, like so often happens. Munir doesn't know it, but he is going to go bust here unless the board pairs.
Yeah.
110 on the turn. 115 perhaps. Like I said, just because you have the best of it doesn't mean you're going to win. Sick stuff like this happens all the time.
This is the part where you focus in. I hate to do this to poor Rev. You just focus in on the way he's acting if you're a reg. And remember every motion he makes right here and the way he does everything. Because it's LOL Live 12 City. And he'll never, every time he has the nuts, he'll find a way to get away from your hand.
Flush already? Call.
So Munir bets, Rev raises, Munir shoves, Rev calls. A board needs to pair for Munir, it does not, and Rev's gonna felt Munir. $500. But he's going to the pocket. He's all right. Rick and Barstow says Barry Woods won his first heads-up match against Joe Cotta in the 10K.
So awesome. I'm so rooting for Barry.
Me too. We love Barry.
Barry's great. He's hilarious.
He's hilarious. Speaking of someone who cannot understand how they can lose with the best hand, so then instead proceeds to play all the worst hands in the most terrible manner.
Double M, 500, double M, double M. M, double M, 500, double M. Knock it, double M.
Chips, please. 14.
$800. Munir's bet is putting on the
Somebody's
table. Rebuy?
Straddling?
I don't think so. I think it's just 2 blinds.
Raise, play for 15.
$15 from Saeed. Rev just calls this time with the ace-queen. Perhaps
That makes no sense.
now everyone saw his ace-9, and perhaps now he wants to take a step back. Not sure.
I don't know. I don't think that. I don't know how that makes any sense. These guys are loose, and you're so far ahead of their range. I mean, you're gonna 3-bet them, and they're just gonna
Bet 40.
call you every freaking time. You're gonna get like calls multiple spots, and you're gonna win a giant pot starting with the best hand. I don't like bloating the pot with the worst hand, but with the best hand. Give me a break.
As it is, Saeed put a continuation bet out. Naldo called. Just check on the turn. $8 on the river, Naldo's going to bet.
Bet 80.
Quick fold from Saeed. He's not happy.
I don't know why you bet 80 there. I'd bet like 10. I mean, you just want to get your opponent to spaz out. You can't get any value. He's not like check calling you there with like hands that he gave up on the turn. If he thought you had a flush draw, he would have bet the turn. But sometimes when you make like a really tiny bet, like $5, the guy will just freak out and spaz raise you because they don't know what to do because they've never seen it before in their life. And it's just like so obvious, it's like painted all over their face that they don't have a good hand because Stephanie's busting on Omaha. I don't know who Stephanie is. She must have been somebody who played today and lost or something.
Make it 20.
Could have been the high-low Omaha. May not have. Probably wasn't yours.
There was a woman who played today and lost, and she wasn't very happy.
Oh, then maybe it was yours. Raise from Saeed? Really? Saeed, a little steam fried rice. I could tell the way he folded his hand last. He lost with his 9s against 10-9. He lost the last hand that he raised. It happened to be Jack-7, so now Saeed's going to play a little bad until he wins a pot. Continuation bet here.
Hopefully he doesn't punch another wall. Yeah, the other hand will be in a cast.
Sam with a gut shot straight flush draw is going to raise. Oh, maybe not. Just call.
PL to 500 PL.
155, raised to 155.
Yeah, he's
Steve,
raised.
however, is going to raise. Steve with the king
Oh,
queen.
Steve's raising.
Yep. So Saeed continuation bet. Sam called. Steve check raised. Saeed with garbage. Lets
I'm
it
not
go.
a big fan of Sam's call. I would have raised there.
I thought he was going to. It looked like he was reaching for chips to raise and then decided to just call.
I mean, if he raises there, the king queen folds. He just picks up the pot. Maybe not. Maybe the king queen calls, but he's going to fold a lot. I mean, he's betting. He's raised. The C bet from like a steamy player is just so airy. I mean, there's so much air in that C bet range that to not raise with a hand that has that much equity doesn't make any sense. He's not doing very good with his Vegas chips right here, but we'll see what happens. We'll see, right now he's in big. Now he's in sort of a real pickle, because now the guy in seat one's range looks far stronger than the hand he actually holds. I mean, you have to make like you have to like really get it to making a read here. I mean, a lot of times I might even fold at this point.
Well, he's not shoved all in. I was wondering what would happen if he did that. Apparently, Steve insta-calls, but Sam's going to win. Deuce on the turn, 7 of spades on the river. Sam hits the
Viva Las Vegas! Viva Las Vegas! Oh. Bright light city, gonna say my soul, gonna say my soul on bright. Oh, he's on his way. He's got a whole lot of money, time to burn. Oh, this guy.
Sing it, Lyman. Sing it.
He's headed out. Oh, he might just leave the table right now. Run to the hills. Run through your life.
Oh, my. This is good stuff.
I don't have. Without Robo here, I have to be the lame one.
Oh, good times. Good times. First, Chicago Yancey says, first Bart, then Hammett, now Barry Woods on blast. When the cat's away, the mice will talk trash. Does that mean we're the mice?
I don't know.
That's really sad, Chicago, but thank you.
Chicago Yancey.
And Bart and Hamma and Barry Woods are the cats? Oh, my. Something happened on this show. I don't know.
Tell them to come in the booth. If they're around, I'll talk trash right to their face. These are things I say to them in the casino every single day, and I can get a lot of backup.
I call Bart
on
a
that.
tool like constantly.
Oh, Bart's the
to
best.
his face.
Bart doesn't walk; he floats.
He is a single child in all ways. The world just rotates on Bart's axis.
Oh, Bart's good. I like Bart because he's curious. He's a very curious guy.
5 players.
The opposite of Tuckman.
I am Jimmy Moore says when I Google searched what was the word you used?
Man down. Man down. Man down. Man down.
It's working now. It's working. Yeah. All you had to do is hit it.
Is it working?
Yep.
Oh. Well, I was doing some very high-tech electronics work on my headset, punching myself in the ear.
I am Jimmy Moore says when I Google searched, what was the word you used? Was that
Adult Video News Roy. Some sick porn titles.
he found that he was a director of some sick porn titles. So he's a director,
Oh,
not
nice.
a marketing somebody or other. He's actually the guy behind the camera.
Good. I'm glad he's not involved in the actual shooting. I mean, the actual, any of the nitty-gritty, I shook his hand earlier.
But he is right there in the middle of it, I mean, as a director.
It'd be funny if he's in charge of boob makeup. Somebody's got to be in charge of that, right?
All right, we skipped our last one, so we'll go to a quick commercial. We'll be right back.
Card Player is the world's most widely distributed poker publication, with an industry-leading magazine and website bringing poker fans insight into their favorite game with player profiles, tournament coverage, and in-depth analysis of the gaming industry. From the World Series of Poker to high-stakes cash games, Card Player is bringing you the scoop on everything you need to know about the poker world. You can get a subscription to our print magazine, download our app for the iPad or iPhone, or purchase a digital subscription. For more information, check us out on cardplayer.com.
Welcome back. You're watching Live at the Bike. We're playing 5-5 no limit hold'em 300 to 1,000 buy-in. It's Friday night, and the game is live. And I am Nichoel Jurgens. Lyman with me in the booth, providing lots of entertainment. Yeehaw! For your Friday enjoyment.
If we're making fun of people, we really should add a waste in. He just like got.
Oh, this is good.
He got 4th place in some tournament, and so we should put up his splash page. The one where he's like wearing like the Ed Hardy shirt. I know he loves that one so much.
Does he really wear that? Because it's funny that you say that, because we've talked about Ed Hardy on the show before, but it's usually older men at the casino, usually older Asian men,
Right.
actually, to really give it like.
Yeah, no. In his splash page, he has on an Ed Hardy shirt.
Oh my.
It says like "Love Kills" and has like a dragon riding a skateboard.
Yes. This is like your Friday night gossip session.
Yeah.
Welcome to it. Behind the scenes gossip on all the guys. This is what happens when they go away to Vegas.
That's right. They should stay at the bike with us.
Yep, that's what you get.
What-
Yeah, and they could play the LA Poker Series if they stayed here, which is going on right now. It used to be called the Mini World Series, but then I think there was
Yeah.
a name problem with that. So now it's called the LA Poker Series,
Yeah, it used to be called the Mini Series of Poker, right?
which was awesome because it just
It
mirrored.
mirrored the events, but then when they had like the Deuce of 7 single draw event, like 4 old guys would show up and look at each other like, are we really going to play a 4-man single?
So now they don't do that, but they do have a horse event in here. They do have a lot of no limits. Do have a EO, stud 8 or better, Omaha 8 or better.
That's cool.
Lots of no limits, some with 150 grand guaranteed, some with 200 grand guaranteed. Not bad little series. Win one for Saeed with King High. Take it down. Makes you feel a little better after he's lost his last few hands.
Hey, if you want more metal, all right, I might blast out a little more metal later. Normally we do shout-outs, so we don't have any shout-outs tonight, so I'll have to do metal.
Button over with Roy in seat 9, 5 and 5 blinds. Ace King for Troy. He's back and he's got another good hand.
Somebody's going to 3-bet him with 5-6 for no reason.
Nope.
0% fold equity.
Josh learned his lesson this time. Just calls it
Yeah,
A6.
exactly.
Their heads up.
Blow it up the pot with the worst hand. Always a good strategy against somebody who likes to call.
Oh, excuse me. They're not heads up. Saeed's in there as well. And Saeed just flopped a pair. Two of them to be exact.
That is 30.
30 from Josh. Troy just checked this. You know, he raised pre-flop, just checked this flop and decides to call.
Yeah, Saeed had a very strange strategy there.
Call pre-flop with the deuce 3 and fold when he flops a pair.
Yeah.
Well, king on the turn is going to do it for Troy.
Troy may be thinking that his opponent has a 5, so he's just going to check call off his money here. Why you would keep barreling at him makes absolutely no sense, because we've seen that that doesn't work.
Well, against a normal opponent, you know, the king would be a great card to barrel. Against this opponent, all rules are out.
This is the part where people just hand somebody money.
Check, check, and Troy's going to win it.
There you go.
BL. 2040 BL. BL Peter, 2040, BL. BL, let's go. Ken, what are you?
I think Troy looks a little like Alex. Do you know Alex? Who always tries to start the 5-10 game? Yeah, I think you don't know him.
No, I haven't played here in forever.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Avian Roy has the classic tell of somebody you want at the table. Anyone wearing poker tournament paraphernalia. The more, the better.
I tell my husband this all the time because my husband, who has played poker for a living as long as you, not quite as long, but almost, actually loves to have free T-shirts all the time, and half of them are from casinos. I'm like, what are you doing?
Well,
you look like such a tool. I was like, come on, you can't be wearing that stuff all the time.
It's good if you're not a tool. I mean, it's like a costume.
reverse.
Yeah, it's reverse.
He doesn't even know though. He just thinks it's a free T-shirt. He's all about the free stuff. I'm like, my gosh, what are we, the poor family? He's like, oh, Bart was giving out free T-shirts. Can you get me one? I'm like, no.
Yeah,
He's like, come on, it's free. I was like, no.
The seat open poker. If you guys had any shirts with collars on them, I'd take one. I don't wear shirts without collars because I can't go golfing in them.
I've been talking about the Live at the Bike shirts.
Yeah, I don't wear T-shirts.
You can't golf in a T-shirt?
You cannot.
They won't let you in?
Nope.
Oh, I didn't know this.
You'll be thrown off the golf course.
I did not know this, really?
Yes.
That's pretty hardcore. They have a dress code, huh?
Yeah, golfers are sort of like douchey.
Obviously, so they can wear those plaid pants, but
Yeah.
they can't wear a T-shirt.
You have to have on proper golf attire.
Rick and Barstow says he misspoke. Barry Woods beat Jake Cody, not Joe Cotta.
And those might as well be the same person to me. I don't know who either of them are.
Well, Joe Cotta is the winner of the main event of the World Series.
Oh,
years
really?
ago. Jake Cody
Shows how much attention I pay.
is actually a winner of some tournaments, I believe, is actually a good player as well, or two, or in his own right. I don't know, whatever words we use there.
If you're sitting at the table with Barry Woods, you're a good player.
Whoever you are.
I mean,
No, you know, that's the thing. We say this about Barry all the time, is he can play. He is capable of playing really good. He really is capable of it. We've seen it before on the show. He's just like the other recreational players. He comes to gamble most of the days. And some days he realizes, okay, if I really want to do this and I want to do this forever, I don't want to lose all my money, okay, I'm going to play really good. But most of the time he's not in that mindset. Most of the time he's just like, whatever, I'm just going to play every hand.
I just like busting on Barry because he always busts on me.
Oh, yeah, he'll dish it out, don't worry.
He loves to go back and forth with the insults, so half the time, I honestly don't even play with Barry very much, so I have no clue whether he's very good or very bad. I just like to say that he's bad because I think it's funny.
O'Neill raises. This time his opponent has the queens. Roy 3 bets. And heads up.
Two players?
Well, trouble from Winier. 7's still an overpair to the flop.
150.
Roy continuation bets 150. About pot size. A little less.
Roy with just a little foreplay here. But he overplayed his hand. I ain't gonna show it here.
Munier did fold. Found no trouble there. Good for him.
Thank you.
Someone says, Lyman, if you had $1 million to invest, what companies do you like in the stock market right now? I only invest in one company, and that's Berkshire Hathaway. And I think it is the best thing to invest in. I mean, really.
If you had like $14,000 for one share.
I don't even think $14,000 to get a tenth of a share.
Isn't that high nowadays? Holy crap.
That's why you invest in it. It just goes up, up, up. Up, never stops going up. When the president gets in trouble and he calls the guy running your company, you know that's the company to be in. There's no information that good old Warren Buffett doesn't have, so why would you try to outthink him?
Yeah, but then you kick him over the table and you nod him and you give him the queen's bitches look.
Freight Train said, can someone talk about the hotel being built at the bike? Is it built? It's definitely not built yet.
Oh, no, it's built. It looks like an old Toyota Tercel. You just crawl in the back seat.
Is that what's over there?
I think that's what's parked where the hotel's supposed to be.
I mean, there's a model.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, you're going to get the stink eye.
I'm getting in trouble.
You're going to get the stink eye. You better not. There is a model in the lobby, and they have broken ground with an official ceremony.
If you're 1 inch tall, the hotel's already built.
If
it's right in the lobby, just crawl in.
They have not gotten farther than that yet, Freight Train.
Oh.
I assume they intend to, though. I mean, it's officially they've told everybody in the world and put a model in the middle of the lobby and said it's coming. So whenever, I don't know what their timeline is.
You know who else says it's coming?
Avian Roy.
Avian Roy. Put him in charge of the
hotel.
The hotel, yeah.
Naldo and Troy going to play this. Naldo bet out 50 on the flop. Troy called with a nut flush draw. Naldo with ace jack. Now picked up a gut.
It is 105.
Gut shot straight draw. With his ace, that's 105.
I don't understand why these guys are under betting pot in these hands with Troy when they're betting for value.
Troy now hits his nut flush, board pairs.
It is 110.
But it is a spade, and he bets out 110 on the river. Quick call from Naldo, and Troy's going to win it. I am Jimmy Moore, says Nichoel. Are you going to play the main event this year? I don't know. My husband wants us to, but I can't figure out the particulars with my daughter. And it's exhausting playing those tournaments, being fat and pregnant. And so I don't know. The answer is I don't know. We are in talks. My husband really wants to, but I'm on the fence still.
Why didn't he do it?
He probably will, but he wants us both to do it.
Oh. I can't handle playing those tournaments. I haven't played those tournaments since the early 2000s. Too much time and energy. I think
it is a lot of time and energy.
It's like a young man's game. I mean, and you think about the
not a pregnant woman's game. Like, oh man, it's tough.
People say, oh, if you have like 100, let's say you have 100% ROI in the main event, you make $10,000. Your average is going to be $10,000 over however many hours it's going to be. The opportunity cost for not playing cash games, you're losing money, I think, playing all those tournaments. And because you're foregoing, you have an opportunity cost, you're foregoing playing the cash games, which are amazing. And in the cash game, you just come and go as you please. I just don't understand I know that tournaments are a big deal for the casino, but I don't understand why any professional player plays a tournament. Other than, unless you enjoy it.
Yeah, well, that's what I was just going to say. I actually really enjoy tournaments. I would love to be able to have the opportunity to play them more, but since when you have a family and you get older, it knocks you on your ass trying to play those long hours and figure your life out while you're doing it. Roy here with queens again. Saeed's going to look him up. So I really like the game aspect of it, the gaming, trying to win, trying the strategy of it. But yeah, it's tougher. I mean, that's why I'm a cash game player. It is tough to make a living at that business if you just want to go around and play those. You got to live with a lot of. You think you have to live with disappointment in cash games. I try playing tournaments for a living.
Roy got queens again, huh?
He sure did. And they checked the flop.
The ladies like Roy. The ladies like old Avian Roy. I don't want to know what he would have those two queens doing if he was filming them right now.
Well, he checks again the turn. Saeed decides to bet since Roy wasn't going to. Roy looks him up. One more spade. Saeed bets again. He's probably going to take it at this point. But he's got to have the balls. Let's see if he does. And he does. Here we go. Good job, Saeed. 60 is a small bet.
Extra 30 for free.
Well, but it works. Roy's going to lay it down.
Yeah, it's. Oh, it shows him.
Boom.
Boom.
That is not going to make Avian very happy.
No. Roy is not going to be able to perform very well after that.
Rick in Barstow says Jake Cody won the 25K heads up at the WSOP 2 to 3 years ago. So that's who Barry just beat.
Oh, that guy.
You're going to give it to him again.
Jake.
You're going to give it to him again. I mean, you know, with your 9s, you gave it to him, you're going to give it to him again. I think that's what's going to happen.
ML, 1-300 ML.
You get it back? Who? That's the only way I can get it back. Huh? That's the only way I can get it back.
Yeah, I agree. If the form of poker Barry would probably be the best at his heads-up matches. Because it doesn't require patience as much.
No, I think if Barry just stuck to tournaments, he probably is more suited for that game, for that style. As a recreational player, he likes to get in there and just try to win, and he plays aggressive, and he knows how to adjust his play a little bit in tournaments, and it actually works for him. Sam raises, Steve calls. And Steve doubled up Sam last time they played. Steve flopped top pair and checks behind. But he's going to bet his top pair on the turn. And look at Steve come out and quickly check raise. It's 2 overs and a gutter. So check on the flop. Bet from Sam on the turn, check raise from Steve up to 100.
Sam correctly realizes that he induced that action. So there's no reason for him not to call that check raise.
He does. Queen, Jack, or King. None of those on the river, and it's still Sam's hand, but if he can
this is
make
sort
this
of a
call.
This is sort of a classic weak live tell for those of you watching. When the person insta-bets on a river
7 of hearts on the river
that could have changed a lot of things, they are bluffing a lot because you would never insta-bet that river. It brought a flush. It brought more straight possibilities, and you would have to think about what the right play was. He just insta ships his racket, and that's number 2. The other thing that weak players do a lot is is when they have it, they'll just say, I'm all in. They don't move their chips because they know that they're getting them back. And when they take the physical effort to insta push all the chips in the pot, it shows weakness. Now, in this specific instance, it's a really tough call for Sam.
I was going to say, all of that makes perfect sense to you and I. Unfortunately for Sam sitting there, he sees a one-liner to a straight, he sees trips, he sees his flush, and he's going to think, well, what the hell, how am I supposed to call this? If he can do it, if he can deduce everything that you've just said and make this call, it would be genius.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of live tells here, but the problem is the board is so crazy that your opponent could actually be bluffing with the best hand. Yeah, he could have made 2 pair on the turn. Now he's just spazzing out. He's just bluffing with the best hand.
He's chomping that gum.
But his spidey senses are absolutely right.
He's holding on to those cards. He really wants to call, but I have a feeling he's going to toss it in.
Because Steve, there's like 10 LOL live tells going on right here that are all show mad weakness. But the problem is, and then he just jams it in his face. People are doing that a lot tonight. Just. No. Steve,
Lizetta's saying maybe Steve thought he had the flush.
He insta-showed it. He knew he was bluffing, and he was giving up like 20 bluff tells. But the problem is, in those situations when your opponent's giving off so many bluff tells, but the board is so scary,
still tough to call.
You don't know if they're bluffing with the best hand, and that's the worst. When you call and they're like, "Oh, you got me. All I have is bottom 2 or something," or they're like, "Oh, bottom 2 or whatever." It's like, "Oh, come on, buddy."
Well, they're like, "Oh, I have a 6." When there's a one-liner to a straight and a flush out there, they think they're lost when they're called.
So in that situation, even though the tells were pretty standard live poker week tells, like
look how happy he is now.
It's very hard to call there. I probably wouldn't have called there either, even though I would know the guy is weak. I would love to be able to raise him, though. That's why I wish I had in those situations money behind.
Couple limpers so far.
Raise 240.
$40 from Roy. Rev is going to call. So Roy and Rev are going to play this heads up. Roy loves to check after he raises pre-flop. This time, though, he actually flops top pair. So at least he's playing a little cagey this time with it.
It's just bad. Come on, Roy. Yeah. Just, there's no reason to get cagey here. You guys don't have like 1,000 hours together. You're not playing metagame. It looks, just make a standard C-bet, and you might get looked up by all kinds of stuff, including pocket fives. I don't know. Somebody might need to get a fluffer in there for Roy. He's coming down a little bit. I think somebody might need to get in there and rile him up. That play was not exemplary.
O'Neill moves over to seat 2. Saeed has left us. Excuse me.
This guy wants to know, Lyman, do you ever travel and play anywhere else? No, I do not. LA is the poker capital of the world, top of the food chain.
LA is the bomb. I tell them that all the time, and they never believe me. Maybe that now they'll actually believe me now that you say that. They're like, "Oh no, it's not better than Vegas." Like, yes, actually it is.
Vegas is a very, very poor town. That's what people don't understand. Most people in Vegas are broke. All the Vegas regs are poor as shit. Los Angeles, you just have people walk in with money. You can't imagine how they lose so much goddamn money. Vegas, nobody has that kind of money. You have to prey on tourists. You don't know where the tourists are going to be. You don't know. You know they're going to show up on weekends. The rest of the week, there's nothing going on.
Limped around pot. 5-way action. 6-way action. I think it's 5. Somebody's name. Josh just limped with 10s.
Avian Roy shooting a boy scene this hand. I didn't know he was into that.
Roy and Josh both just limped with jacks and 10s.
One time.
Josh bet his 10s on the flop.
Jack of hearts. No. Diamonds. Jack of diamonds. Jack of diamonds.
How many? All those players stayed in. There was a C-bet, and all those players stayed in.
I just call a heart. Already a heart on the board.
Well, yeah, they all actually have something.
Yeah, I guess so. 6.
And Troy's Troy, he has a gutter.
Yeah.
Now he's hit a pair. It's not going anywhere. And it checks
How
around.
does it get checked around? Everyone got there.
Troy actually got there. From 0 to hero. He's going to bet.
Come on, Roy.
How about Josh as well? Jacks and 10s. They both limped pre-flop. Played very passively on the flop, and Troy gets there and takes it down.
Roy,
We all know he was going to win anyways, no matter how hard they played it. So maybe they're happy right now. They're
Yeah.
patting their own backs. Like, oh, I lost the minimum.
Roy was very limp there. I think he would like to shoot that scene again.
Does Robocop just talk your ear off when he plays PLO?
Oh, it's endless. Endless. He never shuts up, and he says the stupidest stuff. It's so awesome.
Straddle, 10 o'clock.
No, you didn't have 10s. I didn't have 10s.
Seat open. Seat 6.
You'll see it on ESPN.
Probably the best seat in the house.
What is that they call it? The Jesus seat?
Six has been really hot, so we have to trust that 6, 7 is good.
The best thing about Vegas is the restaurants. I love the restaurants in Vegas. I don't even play poker when I go there half the time. I just like count cards to get the comps on my room, or maybe look for weak dealers at Ultimate Texas Hold'em. I don't even go in the poker room 80% of the time.
Your Aldo shoes.
Where do you eat when you're there?
You know, I really like Mastro's Ocean Club lately. I really
But
like.
they have that here.
No, but the one in Vegas is better for some reason.
What?
The one at the Aria. I really like Il Molino. Of course, it's in New York, but the one in Vegas is very, very good. I mean, as far as like local Vegas places, I love Lotus of Siam. That's off the strip a little bit. There's just lots and lots of places I like to go there. I like Botero, sort of a
Never heard of
Brazilian
that.
style steakhouse. It's in Wynn. It's fucking awesome.
Where they bring the meat on the spit?
No, that's it's Argentinian, not Brazilian. You're right. It's not. It's Argentinian.
I did watch it. Okay, yeah, never mind. Yeah, I think I was.
Button over with Avi and Roy. 5-5 blinds. Rev first to act and he limps.
I wonder if in Avi and Roy's movies he'd rather be last to act or first to act. Poker definitely want the button. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I'd rather be under the gun in a porno. Definitely don't think I want to be last to act. We need to get Roy in the booth. I got a million questions for him. Just a million. So many things I'd like to know. I could trade him lessons in poker for lessons in filming. Production value.
Bet from Rev. With bottom pair, gutter, and a flush draw. Steve with top pair. Gonna call. Well, Steve's hit trips. I would continue to bet if I was Rev. Unfortunately, you don't expect your opponent to have a 10, but fortunately he does.
Now, look at the way he's acting differently when he actually has the nuts, or what he perceives to be the nuts, from when he had freaking nothing. Oh, he's not insta-shoving in. He's like, oh, what do? I don't know. I mean, when you play against guys like this on a day-to-day basis, it's just so easy to know where they're at in hands.
Just calls. And the spade hits on the river. Now he's going to bet, unfortunately for him. perhaps maybe he thinks it's a blocker. It is 100.
Yeah, he's not super happy about the river card. But so this is like the classic like feeler bet. But the funny part is, if you ship on him, he'll just call you. It makes no sense.
Scott Rev thinking, and he does just throw in the 100.
He's not sure he'd won it, but now he's sure. Damn it.
Bulldozer wants to know if you offer coaching.
Oh yeah, I do coaching. I'm not like I'm not really a poker coach though. Yeah, some people pay me to watch Bart's stuff and critique it. This is not a joke. They pay me top dollar to watch his stuff and critique it. And Bart can confirm this because he knows the poker students that have done it. I love it. If you want poker coaching from me, you have to come to LA and you have to hang out at the Bicycle Casino or wherever I'm at. I don't really make like an extra effort to be a poker coach. But if you come and go and do it and find out where I'm at, it's like I've had hundreds and hundreds of students easily, and there's not a single person that's ever complained or said they had a bad time with it. So apparently I do okay, but I don't.
That's why you need a website. I'm telling you, marketing, man.
I just don't really feel like it. If somebody's willing to hunt me down, then I know that they really want coaching. I'm not gonna go to make any effort to be a poker coach. But if you hunt me down, I'll give you the best information I possibly can. Cheap too.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like half the price of Bart's coaching. Too.
Yeah, that's why people pay me to critique his stuff.
I clogged up and you said put a 4 out there.
Live straddle, 5 players limp.
Oh, this game got straddled. Who straddled it?
Sam.
Munir.
No, Sam.
Sam?
Munir can't straddle. He's a small blind.
Oh. Sam, my Vegas guy.
Sam has straddled before, actually. So this is not the first for Sam.
Oh.
Picked up a gutter on the turn.
I like Sam's game so far. I think he's been doing a pretty good job. He had pretty good instincts in the one situation. He knew that the guy was weak, but he still couldn't call. Not so sure about. Can somebody zoom in on Sam's? What has he got? Like a spinner or something? He has one of those,
a chip protector.
A
card protector.
Card
yeah.
protector. Oh,
there it is.
Okay. Sam, if that wasn't given to you by your dead grandfather, just come on, buddy. Move on. Just put a white chip on it and be done with it.
Munir is going to win this with 2 pair. Button now with Munir, 5-5 blinds. Yeah, you don't see many card protectors anymore these days. People know that they're. You see them at tournaments, though. Usually older guys have them at the tournaments.
Tournaments, you'll see a million of them because it's just like donk fest. But in cash games, at least especially a cash game at legitimate stakes, you're just never going to see one unless it's a complete level.
I think Troy straddled in this hand.
Can we give the other hand?
Raise 250.
50 from Naldo under the gun with King Jack.
You want quads right now, right? I just want 1-6. That's all I want.
But Sam is working against character by having the card protector and being one of the better players at the table, so maybe it is a sick level. Or maybe it was given to him by his dead grandfather.
And wouldn't you feel sheepish?
I would feel horrible, except for the fact that I've already poisoned the well. I've already put it out there.
But I know you don't have ace
Naldo will take it down.
Is Lyman's game still going? I know I have the best hand right now.
This guy says, "Hey Lyman, can you recommend any live tell books to read?" I'm on my quote's on the cover of one of them, reading poker tells. So
I guess he recommends that one.
I got to recommend it since I have a quote on the cover of it.
Reading Poker Tales by
Zach Elwood.
Zach Elwood.
You owe me now, Zach. It actually is a really good book. I mean, the guy worked tirelessly on just like breaking it all down. Whereas, like Mike Caro's book of tells is pretty cheesy, and like he gets a lot of the tells wrong in the modern game because in a draw game the tells are a little different than in a game where the flop is coming out and you're playing a limit than a limit draw game. And not to say that it's bad, but Zach's is better because it's geared towards the games that you're more likely going to be playing.
Raise from Steve. Makes it 25. Munir calls. Heads up.
2 players?
I mean, the truth about poker tells is you got to just pay attention, and you got to like to pay attention. That's it.
Lizette's talking a lot about RoboCop. Are you trying to keep the rumor mill
yeah.
going, Lizette?
No, her and Robo were together.
They're secret lovers.
There we got you singing.
There's a rumor mill about how much RoboCop loves Lizette, and now Lizette's trying to fuel the fire.
No, they showed up at the same time together once, and I asked Robo about it. He got very blushy, and he couldn't even talk. He was all like choked up.
We're going to have a dealer change, and with that, we will go to commercial. We'll be right back.
Card Player is the world's most widely distributed poker publication, with an industry-leading magazine and website bringing poker fans insight into their favorite game with player profiles, tournament coverage, and in-depth analysis of the gaming industry. From the World Series of Poker to high-stakes cash games, Card Player is bringing you the scoop on everything you need to know about the poker world. You can get a subscription to our print magazine, download our app for the iPad or iPhone, or purchase a digital subscription. For more information, check us out on cardplayer.com.
Welcome back. You're watching Live at the Bike. Lyman's in the booth with me.
Welcome back.
Cotter.
Your dreams were your ticket out. Let me see here.
Button over with Sam. Live straddle from Josh. 10 to call. Gonna have a new player coming to seat 6. Sounds like they're agreeing to a round of straddles.
Hey, can anybody move the camera so I can see if my PLO game is still going?
Yeah, Brian can do that for you. Let's go see. Let's go check it out while we're waiting.
No, it broke. No, yeah, it broke. I thought it might break tonight because it's just like a lot of the players that normally play in the game are in. They're all in Las Vegas.
Yeah, how are you going to do this summer without the normal players? Is it going to be tough?
This month is going to be a disaster. It was last year too.
Yeah.
Instead of having a game that goes every night till very, very late, I have a game that goes like 4 times a week till like 9, 10 p.m. What can you do when the big boys are all in Vegas gambling it up?
So straddle is on, 10 to call. 5-way action, checked around. JPP, new player at the table. Circle of life.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bet 20. We cut up. We cut up. You're good.
This
20
is,
from Roy.
This is my favorite part when Robo's here, where I ask him about the new guy. Just looking at him, what do you think about it when he gives me a rundown of everything?
What do you say about JPP?
It's no fun with you because you'll just say normal stuff. If you would say something completely insane like, oh, is that a Big Bang Theory shirt? they had one episode about poker.
Betting 55.
Well, Roy's now decided to be the next one to bluff Troy with 8 high, no hope. He's double-barreled so far. Let's see if he goes for the triple. Trifecta. And he does. He goes for the triple barrel. It's not going to work. I don't think. Oh my gosh, if this works, this would be crazy.
If this works, I'll lose my mind. I will lose my mind.
Nope, that's not good.
Yeah, I'll just quit poker if that works.
And Roy's going to lose some sleep over that one. Like, what was I thinking?
Well, remember what I said earlier. Troy, how do I say this? I mean, Troy has way more chips than he should have. Way more chips
Well,
than
this
he
is
should
exactly what we were talking about. And this is why these guys will stack up massively when they're hitting their cards, because people continue to try to outplay them when you can't.
No.
You cannot outplay them. They will call. But everyone wants to try. Everyone wants to bluff the unbluffable. I don't get it.
And the thing is like, yes, you can outplay him, but the outplay him part is just value.
Actually playing a good game, yes. Actually playing a good game, not trying to bluff the guy.
I mean, oh man, people are going to go back and watch this and just be like, wow, why were we doing that?
Straddle continues. Roy limps. Yeah, Troy's up to $1,000 now. So he bought him for 3 when Felt bought him for 3 more. So he's actually up $400 right now.
Ask you to back the wall up just a little bit so it doesn't look like it's a bet.
JPP, who just sat down, he's busy. He's on his iPad. He's got work to do. Ace 6-7 on the flop. Roy with the only pair, checks around. With second pair, you probably want to bet this turn, but he doesn't. Checks one more time. No, we're going for a little bit. Josh looks him up with the 4 and loses.
That guy says Joe Monte, how high? That guy's really going to share my face.
Look at JPP, the new player at the table.
All I can
Look
see
at
is
him,
his
Brian.
knee.
Look at,
Oh.
he's busy.
Yeah,
He just sat down, but he's already busy over there checking out. He's got stuff to do.
He's watching one of ABN Roy's films. It's like, I got to see the ending. Oh, it's a twist. The woman was a ghost the whole time.
Live straddles, but he didn't actually play.
I think he's probably, my guess is that he was watching this thing, our show, and he was zipped down here because he's on this table. It's just incredibly soft.
And he wanted to catch the last few minutes before he started.
Yeah, I bet you that he's an aspiring pro poker player. Well, I'll see if I'm wrong. That's my guess. I'm going to make a guess just based on his appearance and the time that he showed up at the game. That he's aspiring to be a tough player.
Straddle is on. Raise from Troy. Ace Queen. This is about fourth time that Troy's had Ace Queen.
See, now we're going to see if he was watching the show. The guy calls right behind him. If you're a good player, you should just never be doing that with 10-2. But if you've been watching the show, you might do that.
Well, that's not. We can't see his hand here. JPP's hand yet.
I thought he had the 10-2.
No, Steve has the 10 deuce. He limped though under the gun with the 10 deuce. Steve did. So there's something else to be said about that. But JPP, we can't see his hand. We got to see seat 6's hand.
Judging by what JPP has right now, we'll know whether he was watching the show or not.
No, he might be watching the show.
Yeah, maybe. That one's iffy. But yeah.
Bet 30.
Steve with the 10 deuce bets out 30.
JPP was probably emailing to his friends who are still watching the show. Can you believe I just got to sit in seat 6? How is that the open seat at the table? This table's just pure comedy. Yeah, I just plopped right into the Jesus seat. No one even attempted to make a seat change and take it.
Straddle. No? Oh. It's alright if you don't.
No, it's not all right.
I'm not alright. You said no.
Say no?
Floor, supervisor.
This is the thing. What they were all laughing about. I think they agreed to do a round of straddles. I hate round of straddles.
Why is that?
I just decline out of just principle. If you want to straddle, straddle. Don't tell me to straddle.
What?
I put the rock in the game, yeah, so that you have to straddle. Round of straddles is just like very cowardly in my opinion. Anyone who
You tell him that when he says,
yeah,
it's cowardly.
Yeah, I do. That is exactly what I say. I say, hey, if you want to straddle, straddle. I ain't gonna fucking do anything. And if I want to straddle, I'll straddle. I don't like round of straddles.
You're not the boss of me.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't come down here to straddle. You told me to straddle. Unless the guy's like, obviously, like, if Troy asked me to straddle, I'd straddle. But it's like when like some douchey nit like says round of straddles because they don't want to like give up EV by being the only one straddle. I'm just like, go fuck yourself.
JPP had limped in with 10s here, and Steve raised out of the straddle. Their heads up. Look at this flop again. So sick. Steve flops a straight. JPP flops second set.
Let's see if it just keeps getting checked around again. Check,
Steve,
check.
Steve check raises again. Insta all in from JPP. Insta call from Steve. Steve only has like 2 something. So it's not going to hurt too bad for JPP. Unless he pairs, which he doesn't, he's going to lose.
Now he's like, I zoomed down here for this.
King on the turn 5 on the river. Changes nothing. JPP doubles up.
See, what did I tell you, buddy? Build for me. Bill, I want you to build the China wall. I want you to build China wall for
305. 305.
Yeah, some people in chat are talking about Troy's chip setup, the way he's got his chips. I don't like when people set their chips like that, but I wouldn't say a word to this guy.
No, you only say that to people who should know better.
Yes. He can put his chips any way he wants, except in racks.
Except he can't take them off the table. Dang it.
This is the worst way.
Chips, please, 14.
Everybody's trying to figure out how much Troy won. You know, he's stacking up. They're like all just like dying inside. They're just like questioning him.
How much did you win?
Yeah.
Avia and Roy actually say, how much did you win?
That's right. Well, how many buy-ins? They're like really questioning him. They like want to know exactly how much he won.
Sam with ace queen. 10 to call. He's going to raise.
Raise, make it 35. Are any Armenians in the table? One. Huh? Armenians?
You're talking about Armenians. This could be good.
And he takes it down.
It's like at the table, there's no Armenians. Thank you very much.
They're complaining there's no Armenians at the table. That is, yeah, I guess it must be a reference to Harry or something. I don't know, man. That's some funny table talk. They thought Avian Roy was Armenian. He's like, nope, I'm not Armenian. They're like, damn.
So here's another thing. So look at seat 5. Look at Troy. So he racked up his chips to fix them, but look at where they are. They're practically in the circle of JVPs.
Yeah.
But you would never say anything to Troy. But if this is some other guy, he'd be like, "What's going on here, buddy?
Why
are these my chips? This is terrible."
Yeah.
But it's good I didn't make against Francois bet against the Spurs.
JBP is handling it like a champ, not saying anything.
Yeah. He's got the best spot in the house for a little while. A few more hands at least.
But when they're losing it at home,
Got to see Troy's hand. There it is.
Option. Six players.
Steve's hand, we got to see. Limped around pot.
Bet 20.
Sam's going to bet out 20 with ace high.
Somebody online is saying JPP is a professional poker player, so my read was correct. Yes. He's watching the stupid video again now.
Okay.
He won 100K in a scoop event a few weeks ago. Where does he live? Must not be the U.S.
Maybe not. Maybe he lives in Mexico. You know, a lot of guys have places in Mexico now. They're continuing with the round of straddles.
Or at least Sam is. Sam has been the straddler the whole time. Oh, there goes Troy.
Good job, Troy. Those guys tried to beat up on you and tried to like make moves at you, and you just called their asses down, which is exactly
Took
what
your
you should do.
wins and ran.
Yeah. Somebody show them where the PLO table is.
Here's where we'll be tomorrow.
You get 4 cards. You literally never have to fold. Now they're all talking.
comedian. One-line comedian.
That was pretty funny though.
They're all watching Troy walk away.
And he left. He didn't even straddle one time.
He didn't even straddle one time. Can you believe it?
He didn't even straddle.
Peter.
What would you expect? You know what I was going to tell him? Like, don't even take your blinder up in your shirt.
Trying to answer him, trying to do everything.
Oh, it's my fault. 10 of diamonds, 4 hearts, it's close.
No, got another new player. No, it's the same guy with the busted hand.
Oh, Saeed's back. Since the player that you want to play against left, Saeed's going to return.
Bet 25.
Yeah, a lot of people just have nervous energy. They do that. They're messing with their chips a lot. But yeah,
You want to jump in on once more? What is it?
I don't like to play all night long.
Button over with Rev. 5 and 5 blinds. So Saeed's back in the game.
He's coming in with 13.
I mean, yeah, because if it's only like
We need
two
to
of
drop
us
him to
back-
1,000.
No, it has to be everyone. That's what I said.
Okay, I didn't know.
Everyone's doing mandatory shadow?
You know what? Like, if you're afraid, just say, you know what, I will just try it on.
I'm afraid he's going to say no.
It would be more brave for me.
what are these guys doing?
I don't know.
All right, forget it. I don't want to do it.
Wasting a lot of time.
What are they arguing about? Oh,
Apparently they're trying to decide. Saeed has 1,300.
well,
And he's returning from before. They're trying to decide if it's been more than a half hour, if he has to go back down to 1,000, or if he must return with 1,300. Took a long time to
okay.
figure that out for an extra 300. It's hilarious sometimes when you sit in a game and there's a dealer who will count your. You have like $5 extra. You're like, oh, 1,500 is max. Or like, are you kidding me? Seriously?
yeah. Hey, are those? Hey, can you go in on a Saeed stack? Saeed stack seat 5. Are those big chips? Was it? Oh yeah, you know where those just came from. He left with 0 and he left with a couple bucks. He comes back with big chips. For those that don't know how LA
That's
carders work, the big chips come from the pits.
From the Asian side.
So he was in the pits. He was playing like Pai Gow or Baccarat or something. I love it. I'm not going to say it. I don't know anything about Sayed, so this is not.
And he did not leave with no chip. He left with 1,300, but he was tilting when he left.
Yeah, and he went and played.
Over
like,
there, yeah. Which often players do when they tilt. They go off, they're like, I'm just going to go over here and gamble.
And then here's another like total live poker thing. If a guy comes to the table with big chips, and this is not a comment on Saeed, obviously, because I don't know anything about him, but in general, when a guy comes to the table with big chips, they are horrifically bad. If you like see a table where like a bunch of the players have big chips, you just want to camp at that table. It means they're tilted out of their mind and they came from the pit side over to the poker side or vice versa. And
so those chips that he has are $100 chips, but they are bigger than the poker side $100 chips.
Yeah.
And a little bit different color.
And even with like this really grainy screen, I could tell immediately because I'm like a hawk for those things. No matter how bad the resolution is or how far away they are, if I see big chips, I'm drawn to it like a moth to a flame. So basically what I'm saying is if you show up to the casino with a chip protector, a poker tournament hat, and big chips,
you're in trouble.
You can just start a
You're
game.
Mark.
Yeah, just sit at any empty table and it'll fill instantly. And you can just level everybody. Yeah.
NS 3 to 1,000 NS. NS 3 to 1,000 NS. FN 3 to 1,000 FN.
50 from Naldo. And then he's going to take it.
This person says, Lyman, what do you think of sunglasses at the table? You know, I don't really care that much. As long as you're personable, you can wear sunglasses. I'd rather have somebody at the table wearing sort of like, douchey sunglasses and being personable and having a good time than somebody who doesn't wear sunglasses and just like sits there like a stone and is like a rules nit and causing trouble. Yeah, exactly. Always wears glasses, yeah.
Eric with a Q. He was on our last show.
Yeah, Eric with a Q always wears glasses. He's great
Really
to have
nice
at the
guy,
table,
yeah.
loves to have a good time, wants to gamble with you. So, I mean, it's more about your personality than whether you wear glasses or not. That said, all things being equal, I'd rather a person not wear dark glasses at the table.
Well, it's just easier to... If their eyes are not hidden.
Yeah.
Okay. Naldo and Josh going to play it. It's, Josh had straddled. I don't know if they said, we're going to put 20 in and run it or what, but because Naldo was about to fold it. So I think that's what they did. Yeah, I have no problem with people wearing glasses. I don't know why, it came out, it was like years ago, Daniel Negreanu went on record saying that everyone who wears glasses is just douchey, and then all of a sudden there's a big thing and everyone, agreed with him and we're going crazy about glasses. I don't know what the big deal is. I mean, Daniel Negreanu complains about everything. Who cares what he thinks? If you want to wear glasses at the table, wear glasses. Don't worry about what other people think.
In general, they're talking about tournament players, and tournament players are just complete donks in general.
I think actually it's probably beneficial if you wear them. I mean, I don't wear them myself except for every once in a while when my eyes get so tired, but it's probably beneficial. It probably would be better for you to wear them in tournaments, especially if you're new to the game and want to be able to check out what everybody else is doing without just staring at them straight on, which some people do. I call it the douche stare. They just stare down people while they're in hands. At least when you have glasses on, you can do that relatively incognito.
The most important thing is when you're at the table, be personable, have a good time, and don't just sit there and grind like your entire life revolves around whatever $10 in the pot or whatever. And if it does, just move down in stakes. It's easy to usually find the biggest game in the house because people are having fun. Because there's somebody in that game who's super freaking rich and he came to have fun. And if you don't have fun with him, he's going to leave. He doesn't need you. He could just as well be at a blackjack table.
Raise from Naldo out of the small blind with eights. I'll take it down. Now you're going super short.
Now I went really low, yeah. I was messing around with it.
Thanks for watching us tonight, live at the bike. We have about a half hour, 40 minutes left in our show. It's gone pretty quick.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Thank you to Lyman for joining me. It's no fun doing it by myself, so I'm glad that you're here.
Yeah. Doing this by yourself would be miserable.
Talking about David Tuckman doing it by himself at the World Series, but he's had guests most of the time. He's been pretty lucky this year in that now people are aware of the stream and don't mind being guests on the show, which is good for him because.
If anyone here thinks Tuckman has trouble talking to himself, you've not spent more than a minute with that guy.
That's what I said. He's great at it. They couldn't have picked a better guy.
He can hold a conversation with himself for like 6 hours. I bet if you set up a mic in his house when there's nobody there but him, it's just him talking to himself endlessly. Can you believe what just happened? He's probably one of those guys that talks to the TV nonstop during sporting events.
Tuckman's baby due here any day.
Tuckman's baby? I thought that was Bart.
The other one. The other one due very shortly. The doctor told his wife about a month ago, oh yeah, it's going to come really early. And here comes her due date in 4 days, and it's still not here. So, for any woman of the 0.01% that are out there watching who have been through that and know that, fuck yeah. Those last 6 weeks are terrible. So when you hear that, you're like, yes, and then it doesn't come anyways. And you're like, what the hell? Why'd you even say anything?
I don't know nothing about it.
You don't have any kids now, Lyman.
No. I'm far too irresponsible.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody the other day, as far as the poker players go, I'm the most responsible poker player in the world. But as far as your average human outside of poker, I'm a complete disaster. Compared to average humans that aren't in the poker world, you wouldn't want me to be your dad. But as far as poker players go, I'm model citizen. I actually can get places on time, do what I'm told. And, get along with people and not lose money and not tilt.
See the faces, because that's the only way I was able to tell. Yeah, the faces are exactly the same. The faces are exactly the same.
People watching TV now, chatting. The game is a lot different without Troy in it.
Yeah, they've all decided that they sort of missed their chance, but the truth is the game's still really good.
Yeah, they don't realize it.
They don't realize it. They will later. But when somebody is just like really throwing a party and like sucking the air out of the room, it's
And
hard.
then they leave.
Yeah, it's really and leave winner. Very hard to see them go. When they just leave with like their pockets inside out, then everyone's happy. But when they leave with your money, ay ay ay.
Their pockets inside.
I tried being funny, it wasn't funny.
Option. 5 player.
Rev straddles, limps around 5 ways. Naldo flops a joint.
Bet 15.
Naldo praying for a call. No. Munir called with a 10 high flush draw.
And a gut shot straight in case he was hoping for that.
Yeah. And they're all complaining that Tony left.
Troy.
Troy.
My live chatter's talking about Jennifer Harmon's game and the fact that they haven't seen her around much anymore. Well, you don't really see anybody around much anymore, and now that poker's not on TV.
Yeah, where would you
who
see
do you
him?
see? Yeah, who do you see anymore? I'm sure she still plays.
Big blind, please. Live straddle.
I don't think they can hear you lose that, so that's why. So that's why.
That's talking to herself out here,
Yeah.
guys, just so you know. She's not in Vegas with RoboCop.
Yeah.
She wants you guys to know that.
He's at her house. His baby. Oh my God.
20 from JPP. 40, excuse me, from JPP.
Oh, because it straddled. Gets insta-flatted by AVN Roy.
And Munir. 3-way action.
But yeah, I'll do it and then slide it over. Okay.
AVN Roy just laying there a lot tonight.
It's got to be weird being a director for those movies. I mean, I don't understand. Do they just walk around with, you know what I'm trying to ask? Like
I guess.
a boner, like all day long? Just like all day long? Is that, I don't get it.
I think they probably it's like being a doctor. You know, you're grossed out when you very first start med school or whatever. Then after a while, you can just like slice a person's face open and even care.
So you think that he never even like gets a boner anymore?
No,
Now it's just like whatever.
I think he could care less. That's my guess. That's why I'd like to ask him. I'd like to get the info. But I'm guessing that like he's just like, okay, and now it's like you do this and you do that, and it's all really it's like, okay, let's get this over with. I want
Scientific
lunch.
now.
Like there's like some sort of like DPP scene going on, and he's like eating a hoagie.
Straddle still on, 10 to call.
Yeah, I think when a lot of these guys watch this later, they're going to see that if they were a little more aggressive, that they would have won a lot more pots.
It's usually the case in this game.
And I think a lot of the other ones are going to see, like, when they were trying to, like, make moves at a calling station. It was just the stupidest thing they could have possibly been doing.
Josh raises us to 3-7. Rev with jacks just calls. Saeed with ace-10 just calls. Munir with sixes just calls. Josh flops a gutter. Jacks are still ahead. Oh, excuse me. Munir flops a set. King 5-6.
I don't like the flat with jacks. You don't have to be tricky. You can just play the hand for value right there. Just boom, value. Okay, flop, more value. Turn, more value. Someone plays back at you. Do they have like it in their game to play back with less than an over with a hand that's an obvious overbear? No. Okay, fold.
Josh bets 105. Needs a 4. Munir just calls. Josh is continuing on. Josh bets 115 all in for Munir.
He's got a double gutter at this point. He just needs to decide whether he has the odds to call. I mean, on a board with 2 diamonds, he probably doesn't.
Double gutter, but didn't want to look him up for another 200.
It's a double gutter where you could be drawing dead because the straight's already out there. There's diamonds.
You still couldn't be drawing dead though. You could chop.
Dead to a chop.
Dead to a chop. Which is the worst when someone does that to you.
Yeah.
They're drawing dead to 1 card to help them chop.
Yeah.
What? Speaking of Jennifer Harmon, though, remember when she first got her boob job, like 4 years ago or something? And she used it to get inducted into, there was a invitation-only tournament at the time that players, all players or anybody, had to vote people into. I don't remember what, one of our live chatters will remember. And it was an invitation-only tournament. And people had to be voted in, and anybody could vote. And so she put a video out showing off her new boobs.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, Jennifer Harmon, I didn't know that you had it in you.
I didn't even know she had fake boobs. That's a new one for me.
Yeah, it was a few years ago.
Huh.
Queen high flop. Everyone checks. Josh says, I'll take it if no one wants it. Worst hand is going to win with a little aggressiveness. Oh, I like it. Chicago Yancey says, new marketing idea for Bart. Jeans with the butt ripped open. Black boxers underneath that say seat open poker. Oh, that's a good one.
He might have already employed that. You never know.
We're going to take one more commercial break. We'll be right back.
Card Player is the world's most widely distributed poker publication, with an industry-leading magazine and website bringing poker fans insight into their favorite game with player profiles, tournament coverage, and in-depth analysis of the gaming industry. From the World Series of Poker to high-stakes cash games, Card Player is bringing you the scoop on everything you need to know about the poker world. You can get a subscription to our print magazine, download our app for the iPad or iPhone, or purchase a digital subscription. For more information, check us out on cardplayer.com.
Welcome back. We're watching the last 20 minutes now of Live at the Bike for this Friday evening, playing 5-5 No Limit Hold'em. Oh, great stuff.
Pretty interesting game tonight. Had a little bit of everything. I mean, if this is indicative of the 5-5 no limit games here, it's a pretty good spot for a guy who wants to work on his game and make a little money, as far as I can tell.
Live straddle, 10
Small
o'clock.
place called Alexandria. Small, tiny, tiny. Never heard of that. See? I probably said it. Start out there.
Straddle continues, 10 to call.
You went to school?
At this point, you see like Josh call 10 with Jack King off under the gun. At this point in the game, though, if you've been paying attention, you can do that profitably.
Well, we saw him do it last hand and take the pot away from 2 aces who just passively check.
It's like in a vacuum, it's a horrible play, but if you've been watching all night, you'd see like, oh, you could play that profitably. You just need to know who you're in with and what they're capable of.
Unfortunately. You didn't buy it?
Josh is going to bet 25 on this flop. Call from Roy, call from Saeed. Naldo with the same hand as Roy folds.
Oh, you have one check?
5 of hearts on the turn, checks around. I wouldn't mind Josh actually to continue on there with his story. He had the nut
The bet is
heart
40.
draw. He bet the flop, continued on the turn. Would have probably taken it down for him at this point since he checked it. Saeed bets his ace. Ain't gonna win it.
I guess he figures since it's a 3-way pot and both of those guys have shown a willingness to like sort of call light, that he was like, yeah, I'm done with it. If it was heads up, 100%.
Funds now with Saeed. So you don't have to get up early mornings anymore.
No.
Because you used to get up early mornings to play. Now you're more of a late night guy.
Yeah, I'm a little bit later, but
Straddle, 10 o'clock.
not that much. I still get up early just to go golfing, but I don't play early anymore.
Do you have to join a club to golf in LA?
No, there's lots of public golf courses.
But you have to wear
You still have
uniform. What's it called? You have to,
Yeah, you still
have to wear a polo shirt or something.
Yeah.
At all of them.
It's totally lame, but yes, you do.
Wow. 2 flush draws.
If you were a member at a club, there's a million more rules. You have to have your shirt tucked in. You have to have a belt. You can't wear your hat inside. It's just ridiculous. That's why I'm not a member at a club. Too many rules.
Steve's going to bet his flush draw.
That is 55.
Saeed with the worst flush draw. He's going to call. Unfortunately for him, he does not want to see heart. Just doesn't know it.
2 pairs.
Steve now picked up a gutter.
Bet is 75.
In this game tonight, I've seen people play their draws far too passively. But in general, though, in the bigger no-limit games, the players play their draws far too aggressively.
Oh, and Saeed's going to lose a little money here. Heart comes on the river.
Bet is 100.
100 from Steve. Saeed has Steve covered. He has almost 600.
There go them big chips. They don't last long.
300 is a raise. Steve has a second nut flush. I don't think that's going to stop him from shoving it in.
Isn't it like almost putting him all in?
It's 200 more, and Steve has about 470, almost 500
it's-
behind.
it's
He's
an
going
easy-
all
yeah,
in.
because your opponent can't fold any of his flushes because you have such little amount of money left, and he's going to raise you with all of his flushes. And so the number of hands you're beat by is so much smaller than the number of hands you beat, and you can get value from all those hands. It's an easy ship. And of course he gets called.
He does call.
The guy waits for 15 seconds, says call, and then Steve, or is that who it is? He says, do you have the nuts? That's the type of thing that just tilts the shit out of people. It's like, I was tanked for 15 seconds. You think I had the goddamn nuts? Do you have the nuts?
Yes, I do.
It just seems like such a needle. It just is such a huge needle.
Oh, Saeed. Saeed left tilted the first time. He probably is going to leave tilted the second time.
Saeed got knit rolled by
Steve.
The classic knit roll where the guy obviously has the best hand, but isn't sure. So, yeah, he's looking at him like, you fucker, you.
His cheeks are all red.
Completely knit rolled me.
Fireworks going off inside his head.
Well, the baccarat tables are still open. Big chips. And then when you always see the big chips start to get scattered around the table. Big chips never stay with one player.
And it's funny when one guy has the different chips because then you know exactly where your chips have gone.
Yeah, exactly.
You can see them. Long way, 714 says, if I didn't have to get up too early, had kids who were in bed, wasn't so tired, and could get out the door without my wife seeing me, I'd be at this table.
Awesome. Race 235.
You're doing it the wrong way.
Race from JPP and take it.
Hey, JPP, can we see what his hat says?
Zoom in, Brian.
Does it say something about playing poker? 100% playground. Okay, good. Because if I would have known it's...
That could be a poker thing.
I don't know. Because if somebody has a hat that says something about poker, then you remember my old... But I'd already said I thought he was a good player before I knew what his hat said. Now I'm 100% sure he's a good player.
I'm gonna Google it. What's 100% playground?
100% playground. We're going to see what that means. Oh, it's a porno. Ugh, I'm going to be sick. No, it didn't come up. Nothing came up. New York City Park.
Race 265.
Yeah, nothing that I know of.
No.
Race to 165.
Yeah, look at images and see if it's people playing poker. Oh, it is some poker players.
It is some poker players.
So it might have something to do with poker.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
all right.
well.
My husband wears that stuff too.
chips, please, on
JPP, it's
14?
all right. Rory with aces now. JPP with ace queen. Raise, re-raise.
Cancel. It's okay, cancel. We got change already, thank you.
Avian Roy shoots his wad. It's all in there. You knew it was going to happen sooner or later.
Shifts it. Roy calls.
You knew it was all going in sooner or later. His entire manhood is in the middle.
In case he loses, Lyman has to get all.
I had to get all of them in.
Yeah.
He just stuck it all right in JPP's face. Oh, facial, full facial. JPP gets a full facial from AVN.
Again, and Roy is like, "Oh, do you have anything you didn't want to show?" like he has a jack.
AVN Roy is spent. Oh, yes. Avian Roy. The money shot.
Why so he wins and they stop? Right, I think I just got it.
Yeah, Roy doubles up.
He's like, shit, you didn't give me some? You saw that the border's unfair.
La Brioche live chatter says, "Do you get any special treatment for playing this table, or rake, food, etc.?" Nitty says, "You get your plate lambasted by the railbirds and the commentators."
You actually, if you're willing to listen to the commentators, you're actually going to get some pretty damn good information. I mean,
Even if it is lambasted.
yeah. If all the hands that we've actually taken the time to go over, it's some good information. It's not late, but there's no reason to go get in depth on every hand because a lot of it's just the same problems over and over and over.
And then he starts doing shots.
There's not a single player that if they watch this back wouldn't get better at poker.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, it almost is bad for poker that we help out.
I think it really is actually. I mean, it's, and I say this as somebody doing it, but it's there's so much information out now. It makes the game tougher and tougher, but there's so many people still not taking advantage of it that, that's why we still survive.
I guess so. I don't mind players getting better at poker as long as they just don't get too good.
Well, the thing is, as long as you're getting better as well.
They just
I
can't
mean, as
get
long
better.
as the rate continues that you're continuing to improve better than them, then it's fine. It's when they surpass you continuously, then that's a problem. And that's why you got to stay on top of the game. You know, if you don't want to get passed up, you've got to be the one out watching this and doing your research and reading your books and playing. I mean, that's a big thing, playing.
I mean, think about somebody like Brandon Uhl again, our boy Two Hats.
What's his last name? Uhl again?
Uhl.
Oh, Uhl. Think about Brandon Uhl again. I got it. Yeah.
If you would have met him before he started playing poker, you would have said the chances that he could have been a winning poker player would be somewhere around 0%. And yet, he obsessed about this show. This show he obsessed about, and now he's a pretty good poker player, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been a winning poker player for a long time, and living on his own in Vegas and somehow not killing himself. So, I mean, even if you're like sort of, like Special Olympics, if you really focus in on this show, you could be a winning poker player. So that's what you get out of this show. No, you're not going to get any extra free food or drinks. That's for damn sure. You do get $5 an hour, though.
Yep, at the bike, you sure do.
That is 25.
25 from Saeed with a gutter to the ass end of the straight. Saeed just steamed fried rice again. Terrible hand, especially in this lineup. I mean, clubs are out there. King Queen is a massive holding. Club comes right on the turn. So you don't want your 9 if you're Saeed, obviously. So you pretty much don't want this hand at all. JPP hits the flush and it's going to bet.
That is 85.
Double large, 40-40, let hold them, double large. Double large, 40-40, let hold them, double large. Double large, 40-40, let hold them, double call. RG, 40-40, get locked up, RG, make the move, 40-40.
RoboCop's probably 22.
Quarter?
That's going to be awkward.
Lizette says her son just turned 22 2 days ago. So you haven't brought RoboCop home, is what you're saying.
Maybe your son.
Live straddle, 10 to call.
Straddle continues. 10 to call. Naldo's going to raise it up.
To 40.
Makes it 40.
Race to 105.
Three bet from Josh. Naldo makes it 40. Josh makes it 105.
Bet is 125.
125. Continuation bet from Josh. Naldo with 300 behind. Wow, it looks like he wants to fold it, doesn't he? Wow, and he does. He's a believer. Unfortunately, he's wrong.
Josh definitely did more 3-betting than anyone at the table.
Josh was the only one that 3-bet, at least lightly.
I think if Naldo would have been noticing that, he might have been more likely to like play that hand.
Live straddle, 10 to call.
Few more hands tonight.
2 more hands? Is that it? All right.
Race to 100.
100 is a raise from Saeed, right? Out of the big blind with King Jack. And he took it down.
That's a lesson for
Well, I think Sam might have enough to go to Vegas.
Are you gonna go out and reiterate to him?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get him to do it because he's never seen Las Vegas. He's like 3.5 hours away. He's got $800 now. Huh?
Well, that's like you gotta get him to play the LA Poker Series. What are you talking about,
yeah,
Vegas?
he's on live at the bike. We've gotten some rake from him. Come on, don't get greedy. He's a young kid.
45 from Naldo, this time with kings. Avian Roy with 8s. So this is our last hand, Brian? So this is our last hand of the night. Steve's in there. Saeed's in there. 4-way action.
You're not going to see Naldo get away from this hand after he folded the jacks. Oh.
Whoops. Maybe you're wrong.
Yeah, maybe so. But the only ace folded, right? He's winning, isn't he?
He's winning, but Steve has a club, but it did check around.
Checked around, yeah.
At this point, it checks around. Naldo can bet it, but he doesn't.
Yeah, at that point, he can bet it for value.
Checks around one more time.
Steve just says whatever.
Oh!
There
dirty,
it goes.
dirty. King of clubs. Now Naldo bets 100. And here goes Steve in the think mode. Steve actually has a nut flush this time. Naldo says so gross. Looks to me like Naldo might have actually rebought. Can we zoom in on his chips?
Naldo was zigging when he
nope,
should have been
actually,
zagging.
I thought those were purples, but they're not.
Poor Naldo.
He has more than we say, but not much more.
I know you don't want to hear this, Naldo, but if you would have played the hand with the jacks correctly, the cards would have went in the shuffler in a different order, and this would have never happened to you. because they
You
would
can
have.
only blame yourself.
You can only
Ryan
blame
says.
yourself because they would have dealt out the turn and river instead of you folding on the flop. The entire deck would have went in the shuffler in a different order, and you wouldn't have played this hand. I just want to. So it just adds
my.
insult to injury.
Poor Naldo.
Poor Naldo. He seems like a nice guy. That's why I'm kneeling so hard. I don't think he's going to get upset.
Did he just lay it down? Did he just lay that down? Oh, well, good for him, I
Good
guess.
play,
At least
good
he laid
play.
it down.
That was a really good play if he got away from that.
Yep.
After being like a little bit tilted from the previous hand.
All right, and that was the last hand of the night. That was a good one.
That was a good last hand.
Thank you. Come in here.
All right. Here we go.
Come in here. Oh, there we are. Hi. There's for Limon.
And Nichoel.
Thank you for joining us, and good night. We'll see you next Tuesday.